Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of This is Africa, the podcast. You are very, very fortunate because today we have Zimbabwe's very own world famous author and professional hunter. He is the man, the myth, and the legend. He is Richard Harland. Richard, welcome to the This is Africa podcast.
Thank you, Andy. I'm happy to have met you today, and I have seen a couple of yours before. And so thank you very much for taking the time and trouble to come down today.
This is Africa podcast is brought to you by Swift Bullet Company. Bullets without equal. First of all, thank you very much for having us here in your home. You actually are here because of popular demand. I can't tell you how many emails I've had of people saying, we want Richard Harland, we want Richard Harland. So,
Goodness.
Yeah, so actually very cool. Lots of people from every corner of the world have been asking. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here and very nice to have met you.
I'm embarrassed. Thank you so much. Wow.
Yeah, so today, I don't know that much about you. I guess no more than anybody else in the world. So today, what our plan is try and squeeze a bit more information out of you, try and get to know the man a little better. So where better to start than, where were you born, Rich?
I was born in the city of Umtali back then in 1944, so everybody knows how young I am. And raised, my folks were tobacco farmers in the eastern part of Rhodesia then. And I was fortunate that although my father was straight out of London, him and his brother teamed up for over 50 years on these farms at the town of Rasapi. My mother was English parentage, but raised in Ceylon, Sri Lanka. And she was a real pioneer woman. I put a lot down to my whole life and my genes to mother. She was crazy. She could use a rifle, a shotgun, she was that kind of a woman.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's where I hail from. And obviously, as a farm boy, one soon picked up friends. We had a big labor force, and so their children and I were mates. And
the Zimbabwean way, I guess.
Exactly, yes. And then naturally, Mother bought me my first Diana 177 air rifle. I was probably 7 years old or something like that, because the rats in the chicken house were a pest.
Okay.
So that was one of my first culling jobs, was culling rats with my pellet rifle.
How fun is that, eh?
Yeah, so it all started back then.
So what was the tactic with these rats? Can you remember, I guess time of day was important, right?
Yes, vividly, Andy. They would run around on the rafters and along the sides of the roof on the timbers, having been down eating the chicken food. When I came into the chicken house, they'd all take up the wall and run around. So I would just sit in a corner and wait for them to appear and then have pot shots at them. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. I actually have some similar memories of that. I remember my uncle and aunt had a small mill type thing on their farm, and their rats were prolific there, and it was so much fun because they like you said, if you went in there, they just hamper scamper everywhere, and then you got to be quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little blind in the corner would have been a good plan.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
So on the farm, you talk about being friends with the local kids.
Yeah.
Talk us through a bit, like, how did that, because we were quite isolated on the farms.
Yes, indeed. And so one just met up with the odd young African guys running around the farm doing this and that, and strike up a bit of a friendship. And that's actually how later on in my teens I palled up with my lifelong tracker, Tsuro by name. He was actually from Mozambique, and he was a youngster on the farm. And he and I we just joined up forever. I actually had a phone call from him a few days ago, so that's like 70-something years later.
Wow.
Yeah. We worked together for about 50 years.
What? So you met him when you were kids?
Yeah. He was on the farm. And then I was going, I don't know, early teens. I was going to hunt buffalo on Davuli Ranch down in Savi Conservancy. And I asked our farm manager, is there somebody here I can take to help, like a tracker or... And he said, well, why don't you take Tsuro? So I did, and that was that.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So what was your friendship like as kids with Tsuro? Was Tsuro, just for those people who are listening, and correct me if I'm wrong, but here on these farms in Africa, you generally have your number one friend from the village, right?
Yes.
Or the compound, as we used to go.
Yeah.
And was Tsuro that guy for you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he was your number one friend.
Absolutely.
Huh.
Yeah.
And what did you guys get up to as kids?
Well, we had our catapults before the air rifle, of course. And then after that, obviously I was going to school, so I would only see him in school holidays.
Okay.
And then we'd rush around. And then that moved on to shooting duiker. We had quite a bit of game on our farms. We had a number of kudu breeding, waterbuck, lots of duiker, steenbuck, and baboons. That, of course, was a prime hunt for me, up and down those big granite hills we have in that area of Manicaland.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But that was a little bit later on. Obviously, I'd graduated to centerfire rifles by then.
Yes.
So, Tsuro and I mainly went on hunts in school holidays with uncles to Davuli, and then later on our own. I was appointed, this maybe jumping the gun a bit, I was appointed an honorary officer of the game department when I was about 17, thanks to my mentor, Paul Krobler, who taught me elephant hunting. So after that, Tsuro and I then, of course, did a lot of elephant hunting together.
Wow, hey?
When I was still at Peterhouse School and at Gweeby College.
From rats to elephants together.
Yeah.
That's very special. I actually haven't heard a story like that. I mean, lots of people got their trackers and their farm friends and growing up and whatnot, but I haven't heard a story where it's gone from rats to elephants together. I mean...
Yeah, in a very
insane.
short space of time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. But sorry, I keep dragging you back to the kiddie stage just because I'm fascinated. What was Tsuro's role when you went out?
Oh, he has the greatest sense of humor. I mean, this guy was a laugh a minute.
Really?
Yeah, he was fantastic. And many decades later, when he accompanied us on some safaris when I was guiding the Mavros family sons, I mean, he had all the staff in hysterics from sunup to sundown. He was that kind of a character.
Oh, really?
He was strong. There's a picture of him carrying a 132-pound tusk up there on the wall.
Oh, wow.
So, he was jovial.
Ah.
He was a really jovial guy.
Okay.
And he was a good hunter. He was a natural. I think that's why we probably struck it up. Yeah, subconsciously hit it off. That we just like to look at animals and hunt them and whatever.
Yeah, be in the bush, I guess.
Be in the bush, out camping and roughing it.
Yeah. So when you went out as kids with Tsuro and into the farm there, you would obviously have a little rifle, and he would be.
Oh, he'd just carry an axe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And a
And
water
I
bag.
mean, yeah, if something gets wounded, he's in there, I bet.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, butchering it,
Yeah.
all that side of things.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye out for snakes and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazingly, he's one of the very, very few Africans that I've ever met who's unafraid of snakes. And when I was running my snake venom business, he actually helped catch big venomous snakes.
Oh, wow.
So that was another strange thing about my friend Tsuro.
Yeah. That is very strange.
Yeah.
I actually have a friend in Harare called Chawa, and he's about mid-30s, an African guy.
Yeah,
This guy catches black mambas with his hands.
yeah.
Can you
Wow.
imagine?
That's scary.
And brave.
Ooh.
Crazy,
Yeah.
What fascinating. Yeah, like you said, not very many African lads. Normally oaks will take off.
That's
hey?
right.
They
Yeah,
see that
yeah,
nyoka, they're
yeah.
out of there. In a speedy manner.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Tsuro. So for those who are listening, Tsuro is Shona word for rabbit, right?
It's a rabbit, yeah.
Was Tsuro his first name or his last name?
His second name was 15. Now, that is not African.
What, his surname?
And I don't think he knows why he was called that. I don't know if when he left Mozambique, whether his adopted parents in Rhodesia at the time, maybe they had 15 kids, I don't know. He just landed up with this name.
So his first name was 15.
No, he was Tsuro 15, so he didn't have...
That's amazing.
to this day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so 15 was surname? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
What Shona call mutupo. It's a generic term, isn't it? Like
Okay.
Mofu or Nzo or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah,
Ngwenya and all the rest of
It's
the
your
animal
totem,
names.
right?
Yeah.
I wonder if his totem is the
His
rabbit.
totem.
Interesting.
I don't know, quite honestly, Andy. I don't know. He was a rabbit from the beginning and he still is.
Tsuro.
Tsuro.
Excellent.
He's anything but in nature and
Yeah.
in structure. He's a strong, powerful guy.
Really,
Yeah.
But I guess with a name like Tsuro, you're born to love the bush.
Yeah.
Um,
But we ate a lot of rabbits. He didn't worry about that.
oh, really?
Yeah, because as kids we went out a lot of night shooting on the farm, around the crops,
Yes.
and shot a lot of spring hares and scrub hares,
Wow.
which we'd eat and then dish out to the workforce.
Yes. Fun
just again.
times.
Oh, we had fun times.
Yeah. And how would you cook them? Just roast them on the fire?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or my mum would cook the spring hares for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Eh?
Oh, yes.
No, fantastic.
And same with the wild pigs. The pigs in the maize was one of our favorite shoots.
For sure.
When you hear wild pigs in mature corn and they break the stalk down and then chomp the cobs, you can hear this from like 200 yards away. So we'd walk around the land, and when we heard pigs feeding, we'd get in a row between two rows get in the channel between two rows of maize and go down. I had a double 12 bore then. And then when we got close enough, you could hear the chomping, let's say 10, 15 yards, whatever. I'd squat down to
You're just
get
going by sound at this
just
stage.
by sound, nothing else. And get down on my haunches and hold my shotgun at waist level, down now, at pig level.
Pig level.
Hopefully. It's pitch dark.
Yeah.
Hopefully the barrels are parallel and to the ground. And pull the trigger and pull the other trigger quickly, then stand up like a stalk of maize quickly, because if the pig ran down the same pathway I was standing, and it'd be rather nasty.
So you try and join the maze.
Join the maze, and when everybody ran off, all the pigs, and we'd then go back in the morning and pick up the blood spore.
Yeah.
And
figure out what had happened.
And then eat, and those, of course, corn-fed wild pig is one of the best meats. I'm sure you know that.
Yes. I mean, we shot one not long ago, but I was a little bit naughty. I shot it at night and I left it overnight.
Yeah.
And then it was really hot in the morning, and I just thought, I'm not a big fan of pork if it's been in a bit of heat, so I actually didn't eat it. But the farm workers where we were had a field day. But those pigs are mean.
Yeah.
People don't understand a bush pig is a mean critter. I mean, I've seen bush pigs treeing leopards and, I
Really,
think even lions sometimes think, hey, twice about, because a clan of bush pigs will work as a unit when they come to attacking whatever.
Really?
Yeah, bush pigs are serious
I've not seen
critters.
that, but I know you don't want to
serious.
mix with those guys.
Yeah, I once seen a leopard that was treed by bush pigs, and the bush pigs had actually torn the bottom of the tree with their tusks.
Really?
Just how angry they were.
Wow.
But so when how did you graduate from farm hunting to sort of dangerous game?
Big game, yeah. Andy, what happened when I was at school with a nephew, with a cousin, Robert Smart. So Roy Smart also farmed in the Rusape area, and he was a little bit of a hunter. And my closer uncle Dick Harland, my dad's brother, who farmed together, he had done a bit of hunting. He'd actually shot 2 or 3 elephants himself with an ancient 10.75 Mauser, which I used on my first buffalo. So Uncle Roy Smart says, let's go and hunt. There's an opportunity to hunt buffalo and kudu and impala and zebra and all that plains game on Davuli Ranch in the Sabi Valley.
Yes.
And so, of course, I jumped at that. So off we went down there with trucks and Land Rovers, and we had a whale of a time hunting. And that's when I shot my very first buffalo. There's a picture of it in that book, Hunting Imperative. In the back of a short wheelbase 1950 model Land Rover. It was a buffalo cow. I shot it in a herd. The management didn't mind bulls or cows, whatever. And I still have the 10.75 bullet pieces. They were in pieces from that buffalo in a box somewhere. So that was my first. And then I went back quite a lot. In almost every school holidays for some years, I took school friends there. I by then acquired a 4.58, and I also became the honorary officer. And I have a letter which is published printed in the book there, from Don Somerville, the general manager of Davuli Ranch. It's dated 1963. And he says, yeah, sure, come and hunt buffalo, feed you can shoot some for rations. And as an honorary officer, if you come across any poachers, do your job. We'll be happy for you to.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the kind of situation that I'd grown into.
Okay. Sort of the natural progression, it seems like. You've gone from farm hunting to go and do a bit of hunting out in the bush there. And now you're really getting a sense of that big game hunting, aren't you?
Yes, and I had some wonderful buffalo hunts there. What I may do right now is because it's this kind of a period in time, on the bookshelf up there is a little TV bullpen book called The Ivory Trail. And it's a story about a guy called Vikenya Barnard, a South African guy who was an infamous elephant poacher around the top of Kruger Park, Pafuri, Mozambique, and the bottom end of Rhodesia, Gonorrhea. And aged 11, my mum gave me this book. My mum loved all this kind of thing, and she was a great reader. Anyway, she gave me that book. And from then on, I'm going to be an elephant hunter. This struck me.
The Ivory Trail.
The Ivory Trail by T.V. Bullpen. He wrote quite a lot of books, and on Southern African. Anyway, so I blame my career in hunting on my mother.
And book writing, maybe.
Yeah, sure, yes, definitely, yeah. True. So it wasn't too long before I was kind of thirsting to get into Vikenya Barnard's boots and do some elephant hunting.
Fantastic.
And that happened when I was at Peterhouse School. Paul Krobler, whose book I wrote his biography. Amazing guy. There's a whole story there of him. But he took one of our schoolmasters, a guy called Ian Campbell, on an elephant hunt. There were some crop raiders, and I don't know how Ian Campbell got to know Paul. Paul was a tobacco farmer near Peterhouse.
Okay.
And I, of course, went to they brought the film to show as the senior boys at the school. So I said, great. And, of course, after that film show, I sidled up to Paul Krobler and I said, oh, my name is Richard Harland, and, I'm fascinated and blah, blah, blah. I don't know quite what I told him, but that's when I struck up my friendship with Paul.
Uh-huh.
I was, 16 then, 15,
Okay.
16, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I pursued the poor man. I used to walk from Peterhouse to his farm on a Sunday and sit down and talk elephant hunting with him and his wife, Mari. And eventually, I think he got pretty sick of this. He said, well, I think we better go hunting together.
Fantastic.
So the day came and we went to Murewa and hunted down a herd of cow elephants there.
Huh. And what was the purpose of that hunt? I mean, were you just looking to shoot a cow elephant, or was
No, they'd been raiding the crops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the tribal land, common land. So we caught up with them in the hills there, and Paul shot one, and I shot one, and then they took off, and he shot another one, and they went down a little valley and up the other side. It must have been about 100 meters away or more. And I shot at this cow at the back, and she dropped in her tracks, and Paul turned to me, and he, with his eyes and mouth open, he said, good heavens, that was a hell of a shot, and it's the one I just wounded. Anyway, that kind of gave me a bit of confidence that I could handle a 4.58 at that age. And,
wow.
Shoot.
So he was like, okay, this kid has actually got some...
Yes.
something to him.
Yes, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Folks, Jim Green boots are built to be tough, comfortable, and dependable, whilst offering you fantastic value for your money. Made in South Africa using locally sourced materials, they support local jobs while building a durable boot for people who spend their time on the farm, on safari, or on the job site. And they also happen to run a Boots for Rangers donation program, and over the last 4 years, they've donated more than 10,000 pairs of boots to wildlife rangers protecting Africa's wild places. Visit jimgreenfootwear.com to get you a pair, and folks, you will not regret it. Before we go any further, I am ashamed to say that I haven't read any of your books, but that's not because I don't like your books. The reason I haven't read any books is because I am severely dyslexic.
Okay.
So reading any book is a serious challenge for me, unfortunately.
Okay.
So please, will you tell us what books have you written and what are they about?
Sure, Andy.
Especially for those who don't know.
Yeah, my first book was this Hunting Imperative, biography of a boy in Africa. The picture of me standing on that elephant was in Dundee, what's now Dundee Safari Area. It was just wild and woolly then.
Wow.
I was a Gweeby student at the time.
Wow.
And I used to go down there on long weekends with Tsuro. I don't think he's in that picture. Anyway, so I was pushed into writing, thankfully, by a guy called Brian Marsh, one of the first professional hunters in Rhodesia, 6'6", a charming guy and a great writer. He was actually almost a sub-editor for Magnum magazine in South Africa.
Yes.
Wrote hundreds and hundreds of articles for them, but he lived in Harare, in Salisbury. And I got to know him and Gilly very well. So Brian pushed me into writing. And I started writing magazine articles for Magnum. Eventually, I don't know how many I wrote for them, but lots. I think total I've written about, when I say lots, nothing like Craig Boddington, who's in the thousands. I've probably written about 120, 140 magazine articles. Also fly fishing, but mainly hunting and firearms. So Brian was in touch with the people who owned Roland Ward Publications.
Yes, I know the man who owns it now.
Oh.
Ludo is his name.
Ludo Wefbane?
Yes.
Well, of course, I know Ludo very, very well.
Yes, yeah, he's actually a good friend of mine. He was thinking about actually sponsoring my shows and things.
Oh.
And I'm still working on him. But because I like Roland Ward. I like their system. I like their ethics. I like everything behind them.
Yes.
The
The House family owned it in Johannesburg, and Jane, the daughter, was running it in Joburg.
Okay.
And Brian Marsh said, write your book and I will get it published by Roland Ward's, because he knew Jane all through the publishing world and Magnum magazine and all that. So that's really how it all happened. And I think that this little book was the first book that Roland Ward, since 1892 when they started, printing their, I don't know when they printed their first record book. I've got a couple up there, you can see them. Big game records.
Yes.
Other than that, they'd never published any other books.
Wow, fascinating.
So, yeah, I think this was the very first one.
A leader.
Yeah.
The leader of the troop. It's a very popular book. I've heard it mentioned many times, and it's a very popular hunting book.
Well, it's an easy little read. But then came this one, also published by Roland Ward.
African Epic.
African Epic, the story of Paul Kambada Grobler. Now, Kambada means a diminutive leopard. Mbada is leopard in Shona.
Yes.
And the whole story of how he got that name is fairly new in the beginning of the book. So one understands how he came to be Kambada.
Should we leave that for the viewers to read, I guess? We probably shouldn't go into that story, right? They must read that book.
That actually, and it's not because of anything I have to do with it. I was just lucky enough to sit for days with Paul and Mari at their home near Marandellas, recording on little tapes, thousands of hours, and then transcribing it and collecting photos from them and elsewhere. But he is the guy, and I really believe a serious out-of-Africa story could be made out of that guy's life. He died at the age of 99. Wow. Only a couple of years. He was born in 1922. So so it's like 3 years ago when he died in Australia.
That's a good innings.
Yeah. Well, anyone who reads his book will be astounded that he lasted that long.
Really?
I mean, he has stories out of this world.
Cat of 9 lives there.
9 lives. And Mbada with more than 9 lives. He was.
Really?
Amazing. Eh? So he was so kind to take me under his wing.
Yeah, and you were very smart to record his tales.
Well, that's like, I don't know, 60 years, 50 years later.
Yeah.
I said, Paul, we need to get your story down before you get any older. He was 78 then, I think it was 2005, whatever that was. Anyway, right. But obviously it was before then, because I had to do all the recording, then write the book. And then get it to Roland Ward's, and then,
so Roland Ward also published
they also published
an African Epic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the last one on your pile there?
Then this book I self-published in South Africa, in Ndlovu, The Hunter's Guide to Ndlovu, Art of Hunting the African Elephant. Now, the reason it's got that title, Ant Williams of our local Zimbabwe Hunter magazine, Zimbabwe Fisherman magazine.
Yes.
They published the books up there called Nyati, and it's exactly the same format.
Yeah, it's a similar font too, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the cover. I think I've seen it.
Yeah, there it is up Nyati next to that white book.
Exactly.
So I was chatting with Ant, because I wrote quite a lot of articles for both his magazines, hunting and fly fishing. And I mentioned to him, I said, I'm going to tackle a book on elephants. Brian Marsh has been pushing me. He said, funny you say that, because our Nyati book, which Don Heath, who worked for him at the time, he is an ex-research officer with National Parks, Don. And he wrote put together the Nyati book. So he said, hey, why don't we want to do an elephant, a lion and a leopard, the 4 dangerous game. They wouldn't do rhino, but those, he said, no, that would be great. Why don't we include your book in the series? So it's like a series, all looking similar and so on. Yeah. So I said, well, that's great. He said, and we will help you. We will help you with the layout, which they did, which is a hell of a job. Obviously, I couldn't do that. So I wrote the book, and that's why it's got African Hunter magazine, as it was then.
Yes.
Like there's their little logo.
Yes.
African Hunter.
Yes.
And African Hunter, another logo there of theirs.
Yes.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, and
that's all about ele hunting.
Sorry. That's
the ins and outs of elephant hunting.
Not only.
Okay.
Not only. It's 480 pages, weighs 1.3 kgs
yeah.
for shipping.
Yeah.
Andy, it covers all sorts of things, from tsetse flies, mapani trees, marulas, elephant management, the history of elephants and mankind. I put in a lot about the generals in thousands of years ago who had big elephant armies, stuff like that.
Yes, yeah, I heard about. Who was the one who had elephants and didn't he cross the Alps?
Yeah, that was Hannibal. But yes. he used African elephants, which was strange. All the others
back
were
then.
Indian.
How long ago was that? I mean,
well, it's all in that book. I relate a lot of that. How humanity and elephants have been linked closely for an awful long time.
Yeah,
in warfare and mainly, and like horses.
Travel.
Yeah,
they
travel.
Can go anywhere.
And so on. So so it's full of, there's a lot of photographs, how to age an elephant from his teeth, and so on.
Fascinating. Before we interrupted to get into the books there, you've gone and you've done this elephant hunt with your friend from Marandera, the farmer.
Paul, yes.
Yeah.
Paul Grobler.
So now you've done that. Where does your mind go from there as a young man?
Well, Andy, I was at school. After school, I went to Gwibi College.
Okay, agricultural college.
That's right, agricultural college. And we had nice breaks. The normal public weekends we have in any country. If you can tack on a Friday and a Monday, it was into Zambezi Valley and hunt elephants. Mm-hmm. And then the vacation as well. But where I was so lucky, because of Paul advising the game department at the time, he said, listen, you need another couple of people around to go and hunt it, because he did nearly all the elephant control. They'd call him.
Problem animal control as such.
Problem animal control, we call it these days. We just call it crop raiders in those days.
Yeah.
And he did a vast amount of that.
Okay.
So that's where he got all his experience. And so when the department called on me, and I went and I got my letter somewhere around, I don't know where it is now, of appointment. I think it was probably 1962, and I'll tell you why I say that. That's my professional hunter's license.
Huh.
And it's YOI, Year of Issue, 1962.
Wow. That's a long time ago, Richard.
So I think the department authorized to carry firearms. That's why I carry it in my car. In case a policeman says, what is this? I say, look.
Yeah.
Anyway, Andy, to get back to hunting elephants back then, because I was an honorary officer, if I shot bull elephants...
Sorry, what age did you become an honorary officer?
1962. Well, my birthday is October, so I was anything from 17 to 18.
Wow.
17.
So
yeah.
young, eh? Jeez.
I could keep the ivory. It belonged to the government. All crop-breeding elephants' ivory belonged to government. But
Rhodesia in those days. Yeah.
in the Rhodesian government, the lovely thing was, I had the right to go into head office, pay £25 for a bull elephant license and retain the ivory, have it stamped, and it was mine. And I would sell it to Tatos brothers, some Greeks,
Yeah.
who sold bicycles
Okay.
and other stuff.
Yeah.
But they also traded in ivory.
Wow.
And so that was through Paul, of course, because he sold a lot of ivory.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that almost becomes a little business.
Absolutely.
Hey?
Yeah.
What a
yeah.
fun way to make some dosh.
Yes, I did. I mean, that's how I actually bought Paul Krobler's Series 1, a little grey station wagon Land Rover.
Okay.
I later on had enough ivory money to buy his wife, Mari's little Vauxhall Victor.
That was your town car.
That was my town car for taking girlfriends out from when I was a Gweeby student.
Oh, that's hilarious. Was that
Yeah.
quite a good car back in those
Yeah,
days?
yeah. It was
So you looked the part when you were in the city, eh?
It was a smart little car.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was that a bit of a chick magnet, that car?
Yeah, I think so.
Eh? I've never had one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
So how far did the elephant control go? I mean, how many elephants did you hunt, and like where did you hunt?
Maremo, Matoko, the Mazoe Valley, but mainly down in Dundee,
Okay.
which of course decades later I had that as a safari concession shortly after Zimbabwe independence, 1981.
Really?
Was my
eh?
concession, yeah. But that was a favorite. And there was always elephants there. We had some incredible hunts, Andy. Two stick out in my mind.
Mm.
One was tracking some bulls, and we never caught up with them. And when it started getting dark, we had to turn around and head back to camp. We were camped right next to a village on the Dundee River. That's the Dundee River I'm walking in with Tsuro.
Oh wow.
And one of the locals looking for where bull elephants had crossed the river.
Okay.
So we were camped there. We walked nearly to the Zambezi escarpment, those mountains, from where we were.
Long way.
When I got back to college after that hunt, I went to the Surveyor General and I looked out their biggest scale maps, and I thought that hill we saw and this and that, trying to pinpoint things and where streams were.
Yes.
I reckon we covered 60 miles that day.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a killer. We got back midnight or something, or
so
10
you were
o'clock.
just on tracks.
Yeah.
Going.
But the most incredible thing of it all, 60 kilometers, not miles.
Okay.
Take that back.
Yes.
About 35 miles.
Okay.
But the most incredible thing there was one old guy, and he's actually in that photograph, who never wore shoes. This old guy with a tatty shirt.
Huh.
He never wore shoes. And he took us through the dark for about 4 or 5 hours through that Zambezi Valley country back to our camp. I mean,
was he a local village guy?
These are all guys from the village where we were camped. And this guy, Bandazi, with a straw hat, like a Prince Edward School straw boater.
Yeah.
He was our main tracker, actually, these two old guys.
Okay.
And there's a whole story in there about Bandazi and the straw hat.
So he took you back the whole way in the dark?
In the dark.
Holy smokes.
I mean, we were falling over each other, barefooted.
Hey.
Occasionally he'd stop and he'd pull a thorn out of his foot. I mean, he had elephant's feet, this old guy.
Holy smokes.
I wouldn't believe it if I'd been told it, but I was there.
No, for sure. And I mean, what time of year was that, do you think?
Oh, wow. It would have been in the dry season.
Yes.
The end of the rainy season, beginning of the dry, because the crops were just about over. Still pumpkins. They love, of course, the elephants were hellish on pumpkins, as you would know.
Oh, yeah. They love a good village pumpkin.
Yeah.
But those guys that are born and raised in the valley there, those local Africans, are so tough, aren't they?
They are so tough.
Hey?
And Bandazi nearly got into trouble, because on another hunt, we caught some elephants and we shot two
Bulls.
And then Bandazi says to me, boss, by the way, we're actually in Mozambique. I said, what? What have you landed me in now? I've gone and shot 2 elephants in Mozambique, because we'd crossed the boundary. He knew where it was, but no.
Yeah. It's not like there's a fence
there's
or
no
anything.
fence.
Yeah.
There are markers at certain distances.
Way
but we
apart,
obviously went or busy tracking. We didn't see a little concrete marker anyway. So I said, but now people will have heard the shots. We're in trouble. We better get out of here. I said, no, the villages are far away. Anyway, we discussed all this. Tsuro was there, of course, with me. And he said, the Zambezi River's not far away. This is pretty well near Kanyemba. Okay.
Yeah, northern Zimbabwe, northeastern, right?
Yeah, where the Zambezi River flows
into Mozambique,
Cabora Bassa, and we got Zimbabwe and Mozambique this side, and Zambia and Mozambique the other side.
Yes.
Where the Luangwa River
Bit of the old
somewhere.
Crook's Corner.
Yeah, a bit of a Crook's Corner. So anyway, let's go and sleep at the river. We can get water, and then tomorrow we'll come back and see if anyone's around the elephants. Then we know they've heard the shots.
Then we make a plan.
So we did. We went and just slept on the ground near the river, Zambezi, and next morning went back. And when we got nearby, I said to Tsuro, you sneak in there. I don't want to be seen as a white guy. Everyone will recognize me.
Yeah.
Whereas go and have a look
you
first.
You could be a passerby.
Yeah. And he came back 10 minutes later. He said, no, there's nobody there. And so we went back to our camp, and our next trip down, we went and collected the ivory, and I took it to head office. Now, I couldn't say I'd shot the elephants in Rhodesia.
Why not?
Because they would have found out, well, where were they? What were they doing? I mean, the game department still wanted a bit of knowledge of why some elephants had been shot.
Yeah.
So I went there and I said, look, I've been hunting in Mozambique and I've got 4 elephant tusks. And can I have a license? And Tony Schreiber, who I knew, obviously, because I knew everybody there, he sat down and wrote me out. And there's a picture of the license. I still have it. Permission for Richard Harland to import 4 elephant tusks from Portuguese East Africa. Signed and dotted. And so I got away with it.
Wow. Sounds like a bit like a Wild West back then, a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't as stringent as today. I mean, today you'd be in a lot of soup.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. But they were, as I said to Tony, I said, but these elephants don't carry passports.
No, for
sure. So whether they originated in Zimbabwe or Portuguese East Africa, Mozambique, is really immaterial to you and I.
Yes, no, for
the elephants had been raiding crops, and they paid the price.
Yeah.
And they didn't have passports.
It's quite fortunate, isn't it, that even to this day, there's a lot of elephant hunting that still happens in that area.
Yes.
It's still fairly well protected area, isn't it?
It is. Oh, yeah. It's very well protected. As you know, Buzz Charlton and Miles McCallum have that main area, CM Safaris, and they have this very active, dandy anti-poaching unit, financed by people all over the world in the hunting world. And they're very effective.
Yes, and Simon Rogers has the concession on the Mozambique side.
Yes.
And he also is very good with his anti-poaching and looking after. I guess must be more people in that area now in terms of villages and stuff than there was back then.
Yeah, definitely.
Folks, it's that time of year. It's the Dallas Safari Club Summer Show at the Gaylord Texan Resort and Convention Center, folks, from the 23rd to the 26th of July. So head over to biggame.org, get your tickets, and folks, I'll see you there because I'll be there along with numerous other phenomenal outfits. So come and have a chat, book your hunts, and have a fine old time in the summer, Texas summertime. It's going to be great. We'll see you there. Back to the episode. Oh, but the hunting must have been spectacular back then.
It was absolutely fascinating. Yeah.
Was there a lot of plains game back then?
Not a lot. I think there's probably more in Dundee Safari area, because you've got Dundee Safari area and the communal area.
Yeah, Dundee East, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, which is also hunting. You know all this from those CM safaris, Buzz and Miles, but from what they tell me, I've been back there. I've been back there several times since those Gweeby days. In fact, I've been back there a few times since I had it as a concession in 1981. We actually, some of the roads hadn't been cleared of landmines after our bush war. So we had to be quite careful where we drove.
Oh, man, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we actually, when I say we, I had two partners in my safari company, Fritz Meyer from Kwekwe and Alan Lowe, a cattle rancher from Kwekwe. And so we went back to national parks and said, we're finding that there's certain roads that you guys haven't cleared or the army hasn't. There's still trees across them from elephants. And we don't want to go on those in case they've got landmines.
Yes.
From the war days. And so how about us getting a bit of a reduction off our fee for the year? And they did. They gave us
danger off.
Like 20%. How much of the area can't you use? So we said, well, here, on the map.
Yeah. Danger discount.
Dandy landmine discount. So anyway, that was great. And then I went back with at least once, if not twice, with Craig Boddington, Tim Dancliffe, and Dave Fulson, who probably need no introduction.
Yeah.
With their TV series, and of course Craig Boddington, the greatest wildlife and firearm and hunting writer I think that's ever existed. We became very good friends, and in fact he wrote, Craig Boddington wrote the foreword for my Ndlovu book.
Oh, very nice.
But I was embarrassed because we were at Safari Club International in Reno, my wife and I, because of course I was signing books on the various people like Ludo Werfbane and so on.
Yes.
Anyway, these guys approached me and said, we've written a book on leopards, the three of them together, and we want you to write the foreword. And I said, good heavens, you guys are mad. I'm not qualified to write a foreword for your book. You got dozens of really top writers in this country. Come on. No, you're going to do it. And anyway, we had a bit of a set to. I really felt uncomfortable writing a foreword for a Boddington book. You know, it's crazy. Anyway, they persisted, and I said, well, how am I going to read the book so I know what to write about? I've been on hunts with you guys and everything, but I don't know what you put in the book. And they it's on our computer at our stand in the SCI convention. Huh. So, but I'm signing books. I haven't got time to come and read your whole book on your computer.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did. Over the days, I managed to slip in. I didn't eat, drink. I didn't, gee whiz. My wife was running around behind me trying to bring me food. Anyway, I read this thing on the computer. So I said, okay, you guys have put me in a spot, but obviously I have to do it. And I said, well, when I get home, I'll have... No, Richard. They said, you're not going home. We're all meeting up at Dallas Safari Club next week, don't forget. You're going to have it done by then. I said, you're totally off your rockers, No. So what happened, my wife and I booked back in our hotel. We were going to go to Dallas. So we spent another 2 days, and I managed to write that. And that's the book, Leopard, on the bookcase there.
Okay.
It's a beautiful book.
Big one.
Yeah. big one. So
Oh, that's a bit of an honor.
it was a huge honor. It really was. But they put me on a spot. And anyway, we've been great friends. I stayed with them when we went to Dallas. So that's the story behind my dandy hunting.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time in
And then I
Dundee.
went back there with Buzz Charlton had a group of 7 hunters. I think there were 7, yeah, called the Dagger Boys. One guy from England and the other 6 from the States, some of whom I'd met, of course, before conventions or out here. And they said, we want Richard to come on our safari with us. It was purely buffalo and tuskless cow elephants. So Buzz, they very generously invited me along for that.
For sure.
We had a whale of a time. So each day they hunted in pairs. So we had 3 PHs, 3 cameramen, and these 7 guys. Rob Jolly mostly hunted with Charles because he was with Buzz. After a buffalo had killed an African guy cycling. He dropped his kid off at school and he was cycling back on the path and a buffalo ironed him out, killed him.
Jeez.
So they went and hunted that, and then but the other 3 groups, I accompanied each time, each day, a different vehicle with a different PH and a pair of hunters.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, it was great. So
Tell me, on any of these trips hunting with Tsuro, did you ever come close to being ironed out yourself? Talking about being ironed out.
I had one scary experience, Andy. We were hunting cow elephants in rainy weather and in thick Msumbiti. Now, Msumbiti, Simbi in most dialects around here is metal,
Yes.
iron. So the Msumbiti is an ironwood tree. It's called Lebombo ironwood, and it occurs in Gonorrhoea and right through.
I know the exact stuff.
You know those
talking about.
trees.
That's that thicket, and it gets thick.
It's thick, those curly little green leaves, and it's dense, and the elephant paths weave through, and those, if a bullet hits even a small trigger, it's going to go somewhere else.
Time, yeah.
So we got into this. They'd been raiding crops, and they split up, and we didn't quite. We'd lost track, as it were, of the main group, but we were on tracks of 2. We discovered, where are the rest? We don't know. They peeled off, and we missed it. So we carried on with these 2 and got into Msumbiti, very, very dense, in the rains, in the green. It was green, full leaf, and my other tracker, Willie was a Shangaan, so he and Tsuro worked together all my years with hunting elephants down in Gonorrhoea. He suddenly looks up and he looks over there to the right, and there's this elephant shape. And next thing she comes, the one with her was obviously one of her calves, like a half-grown one. But this big old girl comes crashing through the pathways at us, and we crammed in a corridor of these Msumbiti trees. They're straight up, aren't they?
Yeah, straight, yeah.
And packed like pine needles. Anyway, she comes hurtling in from the right, and I swung around. I hit Tsuro across the head with my rifle. He didn't duck quick. He didn't know I was doing it. I didn't know. I was looking at the elephant, whacked him on the head with the rifle. And anyway, I waited, and I couldn't see to shoot. It was just trees, trees, trees. And eventually, as she kind of turned a bit of a bend, some few yards away, I shot up, because now she was kind of over me.
Yeah.
And I shot her somewhere here and through to the brain.
Really? At that angle?
And she collapsed. But when she fell, she knocked some of these Msumbiti trees, and one whacked me. One knocked me down.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was an uncomfortable.
Luckily, your shot was true there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because those elephants, when they get you, that's the game over, mostly.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It was. I nearly gave up hunting elephants. I was really shaken by that.
Really, hey?
And when we got back to our little camp, I thought, I don't know. Maybe I'm pushing my luck. But I woke up next morning, I was fine.
That's in that Gonorrhoea area.
Yeah.
What were you doing in Gonorrhoea area? Because I spoke to Barry Duckworth.
Yes.
And he was telling me that he came in, I don't know whether it was under you or
Yeah, he was.
something like that.
Yes.
And you were doing something there?
Yes. Okay. Barry joined the department. I think he was only 18, even younger. I joined when I was 20 in 1965. Anyway, Barry was sent down to learn some elephant hunting from me. I mean, I was like all of 22 then, but I had a lot of experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I took him out. Again, I keep referring to this because there's a picture in Hunting Imperative of Barry standing. We were in the tsetse fly corridors. So when you ask me what was I doing in Gonorrhoea, I was doing mainly two things, apart from little things like building workshops and anti-poaching patrols. Crop raiding, problem animal control, mainly elephants.
And you're in national parks now?
I was a game ranger at Mabalauta.
Okay.
Which is on the Nunetsi River. A morning's drive from Pafuri, from the junction, the Limpopo River.
Okay.
The junction of Mozambique, where Vikenya hunted.
Krukskona, original.
You can't believe it that after reading that book at the age of 11, 10 years later, I've gone right off the track of elephant hunting now, but I've got to tell you this. I met two children of Vikenya Barnard's because he sired the odd child with local ladies.
Yes.
One was a big man, and I met him at one of the railway stations, the little sidings going through Gonorrhoea called Twiza, which is a giraffe, and Guluweni, which is just a name of a river nearby. And he was manning one of these little railway stations, refueling the locomotives with water and coal. One of Vikenya Barnard's sons. Wow. Can you believe it? Wow. And the other was an elderly lady. I was hunting elephants way down in the south near Limpopo River. And we were in the village talking to them. And one of the guys there said, "That old lady sitting under the thatch of that hut, that's Vikenya's daughter." And I went and said hello to her. I mean, to me, that was,
yeah.
Quite
unheard of in those days.
Incredible coincidence to actually meet these two.
How old was the woman?
Well, Vikenya hunted around the 1910, 1920s.
Okay.
So by 1965-ish, when I was there, 65, 66, 67, whatever that would, but
okay.
She looked ancient.
Oh, she
me.
did, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So going back to the hunting, Andy.
So you taught Barry a thing or two there?
Yeah, because...
And how did that happen? Any stories there with old Mr. Duckworth?
Lots of stories.
Come on, give us one.
Yeah, so I was at that Mabalauta station, not for long, like 6 months. And then on the west side of Gonorrhoea were tsetse fly corridors. They were also elsewhere in the Zambezi escarpment.
Yes.
And these tsetse fly corridors were two game fences, parallel about 6 to 10 k's apart, kilometers apart, 5 miles, whatever. And they ran from the Sabi River, northeast, southwest, down to Lundi River, Chipinda Pools, then on down to Nunetsi. That was like 160, 170 kilometers.
For those who are listening, just so that you understand, this is the wildest of wild land you can find in Africa. Sorry, carry on.
Yes. So the purpose of these corridors was to stop a game traversing from tsetse fly area, which Gonorrhoea is, into the cattle ranching and the communal areas where tribes people lived. Because, of course, trypanosomia, sleeping sickness, kills domestic animals. So this was the government of the time put up these fences, and they had teams of hunters, 20 guys with 303 rifles. And every morning they were issued 3 rounds of 303 ammunition. And they shot the small game, which turned out a mistake in the end. We may or may not go back on that later. But and then there was a guy from National Parks, Richard Harland, who was tasked with killing all the elephant and all the buffalo in the corridors.
Wow.
And there's a picture in there with Barry Duckworth. One of his first elephant hunts, we found a herd in the Tsetse corridor. So this is just explaining that as opposed to problem animal.
Yes.
Okay. So this was an elimination job.
Yeah. So basically, you're stopping animals from going from one side to another side. Anything in the corridor?
Carrying so they didn't, because elephants and buffalo, being, very well, tsetse flies love following dark creatures. They like shade, but they also follow dark things, like a moving elephant or vehicle or whatever. So this picture, I said to Barry, okay, here we are, there's 10 cow elephants, and just watch how I handle the situation. He said afterwards, he actually mentioned it in a book written by another guy. He said, I was standing there, and the next minute there were 10 dead elephants around me. And there's a picture of him standing there looking a little bit bemused with a few elephants in amongst them. Anyway, I'm not, I'm not boasting. It was just, that was Barry's introduction to elephant hunting.
Yeah.
And we went on.
How did you do that? What? Talk us through how you shoot 10 elephants in one spot.
I had a Mannlicher Shona 458 Winchester Magnum rifle.
5 rounds.
Andy, this is the finest bolt action ever invented.
I saw one on for sale the other day here in Zimbabwe, and I was like,
what?
Yeah, I did. And I'd heard about these weapons, and I thought, yay. This is maybe something I should think about getting just for being in the bush with.
It's a rarity. Wow. Was it a 458?
Yeah. I think it was the same thing we're talking about. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, so carry on. Sorry.
Yeah,
so you had this weapon.
Yeah, just quickly, why it's a magic weapon for the work I was doing. People say, oh, you were culling. I wasn't culling as in the management issues of Wanky Park and Gonresor many years later, where they were reducing. And you'd have 3 guys, some using FN autos, some using 458s. No, I was a one-man band with an ordinary bolt-action rifle. But that smooth action, because the handle on a Mannlicher Shona bolt is halfway along the bolt. It's not at the back end, like all Mausers and many others.
So
no,
it's a
midway.
shorter pull as such.
Yeah, and because your leverage is right in the center of the bolt, it is so smooth, silk. The other lovely thing was it has a spring-loaded revolving magazine. There's little clips, and the rounds go in a circle in the magazine. It's sprung, and they pop up, but they're in a straight line. Again, unlike a box magazine where they are often staggered.
Yes, left, right, or whatever.
Yeah. So, and that was 4 rounds in the mag. So I had a 5-round. A quick reloading bolt action, and that
helped a lot.
It was huge. So that was why. Again, going back to Paul Krobler, the first elephants we shot, he said, "We're going to spend some time here. I'm going to teach you something, Richard." In his Afrikaans accent.
Yeah.
And so we cut open these skulls. And as I've written certainly in probably 2 of my books, I developed what I laughingly call X-ray vision of an elephant's brain. When I was hunting elephants, I didn't bother where the eyes, the tusks, the nose, the ear holes, anything else was. I can see the brain. Whatever angle he or she is, I can see the brain. I think that's why that one I told you in Msambiti.
Yeah.
I mean,
when
it was
you set
instant.
the angle from like
Yeah.
bottom left
Yeah.
up through the jaw and into the brain.
And
I mean,
yeah, so
that's wild.
So that's how I put it purely down to Paul Croblet teaching me that. And I've told a lot of other people about it. I said, try and do this. We've got cutaway pictures in and Rovo book and so on. Try and envisage this brain, far back, low down, as opposed to most four-legged animals.
I mean, that head is so big of an elephant.
big, yeah.
I took a really good picture this year of a professional hunter. Just the elephant had fallen face first and died sort of upright.
Yes, yes.
But he's sitting next to the elephant, and you can just see how big those heads are.
Yeah.
And you know that the brain is
bull.
only like a soccer ball, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that head is massive. It's like almost like
It is.
I don't know, what, a delivery motorbike or something with a big cold box on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a good point. I mean, you know, I've never actually cut open a skull and looked at that.
Yeah.
You know, you just try and, like you say, imagine where it is. But if you've opened it, then you can actually know. Okay.
Yes. From a whole elephant, you know, you see skulls all over the bush. But it's not the same. A skull, looking at a skull, you know, it's meaningless really.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that massive amount of flesh, muscle, hide, and everything is sticking out, and trunks and what have you,
and ears and everything else. Yeah.
So that Paul did me the biggest favor ever by teaching me that.
Yeah.
And luckily I was kid enough to learn.
Yeah. Folks, this year with Boyd's Hardwood Gun Stocks, we're doing something a little different. Instead of just picking a stock to give away, we're letting you guys help build this one. We're putting together a custom stock to give away, and you'll be making the calls along the way. First step, shape. This is the foundation of the whole build. How it feels, how it shoulders, everything starts here. They've got a few solid options up, so head to boydsgunstocks.com/thisisafrica, take a look and vote for the one that you'd actually want to run. We'll go with whatever you guys decide, so head over there, pick your shape, and let's get this party started. Back to the episode. You're obviously shooting all these elephants freehand, right? You're not jacking around with shooting sticks and things.
No, I never used shooting sticks. I shot a lot in groups. Again, in my book,
Yeah.
I've got the picture there I got up a tree. I think that one I shot 13 elephants, and I think a whole lot of them actually touching each other, and Tsuro was sitting on top of one. No shooting sticks ever, because I didn't need them.
Yes.
And I was shooting crop breeding bulls. Okay, one had time to select, but again, no, I didn't. Andy, that rifle, I had a ammo belt with 20 rounds, a full box of 4.58 ammo on my belt, 5 in the rifle, and then Willie, my second tracker, had a little canvas bag with another box of 20. And we had one occasion, again, an unusual thing, cow elephants crop breeding. This wasn't in the Tetsikora. This was now way down in Sengwe Tribal Trust area, as it was known back then, between the Nunesi and Limpopo River. And we got into Msumbiti again with this herd. They'd been raiding the crops. Unusual for cows to raid crops. And we were sneaking up. We could hear them feeding and moving around. And suddenly there's a big opening in the center of this Msumbiti forest. It had like a whale's back granite slab sticking like 1.5 meters out. So, wow, this is Christmas. Up on the slab, walked along, and sure enough, here the elephants are feeding.
Nice and quiet.
Quiet. And it had been raining. Anyway, I opened fire, and I don't know, maybe it sounds horrible, you can edit it out, but I shot 23 elephants out of that Mannlicher. the barrel, I did a stupid thing. When I finished, I touched it, and it just scored my hand.
Wow.
But the funny thing happened. I shouted to Willie, "Bumburu, get the bullet, the box
the
out."
bullets.
And he, in his hurry, he lifted it out and fell out of his hand straight into a pool of water, because there was water on this rock. It had been raining. Anyway, that didn't bother, because I was running out of ammo on my belt, feeding my Mandika flat out.
So when you shoot one or two, these elephants obviously get a bit confused, right?
You have to take the matriarch first.
How do you pick the matriarch? Just
sniff her out.
Sniff her out. I mean, you learn what to look for, but what are you looking for there? Just behavior,
a big
and
cow.
Size.
That's an interesting question. How to? Obviously not always, especially in thick stuff. One couldn't. You maybe have to shoot the first elephant that offered a shot.
Anyway,
but that was always my goal. If I could, try and select the matriarch.
Then it confuses the others because they don't have
any leadership. Then they don't have a leader.
Okay.
And they mill around, squeal their heads off, and then and the shooting gets going. So that's mainly what I aimed for. But occasionally it didn't work. I also had another little trick up my sleeve, what I called my what did I call it? Anyway, an attack where I'd run into the herd, and then having picked out matriarch, shoot her and get on top, and then shoot standing up on that elephant. Like I said, this picture in my book there, Tsuro sitting on an elephant. That's what I did there.
Huh.
I ran in, but I wouldn't do it if I was feeling. I had to feel totally confident. I'm on top of the game here. I can do this.
Yes.
Before they got into thick stuff, it happened a couple of times. They'd be out in the open, and I was getting hot in the day. They want to get into thicker stuff, and I want to catch them before they get in there. Run up, shoot the matriarch, and then
get on top
next to her, or if I had time to run up a leg and get on top without falling off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give you a nice little vantage point up there as well, because they're big animals, obviously.
Yes. And of course, a lot of the others would come charging in, very angry. The Gonorrhoeasaur elephants have a reputation countrywide. You've heard of it.
Yeah, still.
Those cow elephants. And I've sat and watched cow elephants stalking me. I'll relate this one story where it was interesting. We were, Tsuro, Willie and I were in a new corridor. They extended one corridor. So while the Tetsi department built the fence, I went in and I chased the elephants. Rather than kill them, chase them out.
Yeah, across that boundary.
Across back into Gonorrhoeasaur as these guys built the fence. And we were, again, in very dense Msambiti, got in amongst this herd, and I fired a shot, and I fired another shot in the air. And boy, they all took off, screams and yells, and off they went. So we climbed up on a big termite mound, a huge one, half the size of this hut. And we sat up there smoking cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes then, of course, being a tobacco farmer's son. And 10 minutes later, we hear a bit of a noise, a scratch or little trick. And so I get my rifle and I sit there with it and think, what's going on? Andy, the next minute, 3 cow elephants came, and we watched them following our scent, because we'd run over there and then walk back.
Yeah.
They're following our scent. Right, they came back. They wanted to make sure they were going to get rid of us.
Wow.
That was a real surprise for me. I'd had lots of angry elephants while shooting, but I'd never had vindictive elephants looking for me.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I shot them, of course.
Oh, really?
And the first one, when she got to the base of the anthill, as she went down, this blood from the brain, she came down and, I actually had some few little spots of blood on me from she fell out of the trunk. Anyway, that was, and then another occasion in the same Tetsi corridor where we chased them, and then we were kind of wandering around, and how many were there? And the next thing, they come back. So I said, okay, girls, sorry, you made a mistake.
No more chasing.
No.
Jeez,
Yeah.
wild. Just going back to shooting offhand, I think that's something that a lot of clients, even to this day, they haven't had enough practice with.
No.
And it can be a very handy thing when hunting in Africa. You know, if that buffalo jumps up at 5 meters and looks at you
Yes.
before he turns and runs, you know, offhand, you might get a nice, easy shot, you know, if you're competent in it.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean, doing what you were doing, you have to be, right?
Yeah. I think, a lot of those foreign hunters, they do get out to shoot in their forests and all that. Hunting, certainly probably wild boar, where you don't have sticks, because you're not going to be, no wild boar.
But that's more of a European pastime, that boar hunting.
that is, yeah.
The Americans are more blind orientated.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
a lot of, especially first timers, they need to practice off sticks first.
Yes.
But then once you've mastered that, you should really, as a hunter, try and master shooting offhand.
Yes, I agree.
You know, always safer to shoot off the sticks for your first shot. But, you know, after that, you know, it can be handy to have a little
Yeah.
freehand go. Talking about shooting and things, what footwear did you wear?
Good old felt schoons.
They've just got a thin rubber sole, solid rubber sole, no
Yes.
foam, so they
No.
were quiet.
Yes.
Which
And-
was key, I bet. Because elephants, if they hear you,
Yeah.
this can be either, you know, they run away or they can come and look for you.
Yeah. Andy, they just suited me. I'd worn them as a kid. And strangely enough, the Department of Parks and Wildlife, which became when the old game department, wildlife management and national parks departments amalgamated, they issued us with hats and shoes and shorts. I don't know, we must have had shirts as well, I don't remember. That they actually issued. So I had all my feldschoons, whenever I needed some.
Yeah, they just gave you.
They'd send them down, and they were brilliant. And that's what I really wore virtually most of my life.
So the listeners, a Falzkun is a thin rubber-based shoe with leather toppings, if you want to call them, and just some laces, I guess.
Yeah.
So a very simple shoe.
It wasn't ever polished. It was chamois type leather, rough. Not smooth.
Okay.
It was the inside part of the leather, not.
Yeah, and then you had your shorts. You probably didn't wear socks with your Falzkuns.
No socks.
Like good old Rhodesians, no socks involved. Pair of shorts, and you had your culling belt.
Yeah.
Which you said had 20 rounds on it.
Yes.
Then, did you ever use a sling on your gun?
No.
As a professional hunter, did you ever?
No. We had this discussion a week or two ago when I was down in Nyakasanga with a hunting safari about slings with the client, and he asked me that question. I said, it's a hazard. In Jess, Zambezi Jess, or any thicket for me, and I just carried my rifle over my shoulder.
Yeah. But for clients, sometimes I think a sling is handy because, one, it helps you to keep that gun in a nice, safe position.
Yes.
Which I quite like.
Yes.
Also, like when your gun gets heavy for carrying it after a while, it's okay for the PH because you're kind of there in the front. You don't have too many people in front of you.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the client, that over-the-shoulder carry now,
No.
especially when you're not used to it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
it looks very romantic, but it can be hell of a dangerous.
We know of a case where somebody was killed that way. Andy, you're quite right. For clients, this was a question to me. Did you use a sling? No.
Efficiency,
but you use a sling, Mr. Client? Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And also, I haven't seen it done much lately, but you can wind that sling around.
Oh, yes.
Your forearm,
Yes.
the deal.
Yeah.
To give a little bit more, I don't know.
Stability,
I've never tried it.
No,
But-
some guys do it very well. But yeah, it's a preference, I guess. Lots of people like it. Some people don't. The sling. But obviously you didn't. And then you wore a wide brim hat or a cap.
I've never worn a cap. I won't wear a cap in my coffin. I can't stand them.
Really, eh? You don't, why is that? Just it's a half a hat.
Yeah, it's half a hat, and
Yeah.
I just like the shade.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, especially in the hotter months, a wide brim hat can really bring your body temperature down.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
You
Compared
notice
to a
it.
cap,
Yeah,
big time. This time of year, October, November, December, I'm a wide brim hat kind of
Yes,
guy. But
yeah.
in the earlier season, I like the cap.
The cap, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so you obviously, so then you went from national parks and doing all your elephant control and all that. You probably did a bit of culling as well, I guess, or
No, we didn't cull
Okay.
in Gonorrhoea in those days.
Okay.
That came later with Paul Grobler. He did culling for parks.
okay. And then you went then into professional hunting.
Yes, not immediately, Andy. I got married. When I left okay, let me just quickly say, when I was given a transfer by National Parks, you will go from Gonorrhoea to Zimbabwe National Park. Now, Zimbabwe National Park at near Lake Kyle, it's a tourist attraction. This is where all the people come and look at the ruins. It's a hotel. I mean, I said, no ways am I going there to clean toilets and make beds.
Yeah, and watch some
Not a bit.
tourists run around and
No.
look. What were they looking at? The lake.
Well, the ruins, Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe
the
ruins.
Yeah. It's a national park.
But there wasn't much elephant hunting to be done.
There wasn't any hunting to be done. So anyway, I had to serve my 3 months' notice at Zimbabwe Ruins National Park lodgings, and so I was given a hut to live in, one of the tourist huts, and I took some very nice girls around the ruins and had a little bit of fun. I was still a bachelor.
We won't go down that road.
No. So when I left there, I married my darling late wife, Brita. She was from Kwekwe, but I'd met her in Harare. We were married 52 blissful years, a marriage in a million.
Very nice.
She died 4 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Anyway, so okay, out of Gonorrhoea into Zimbabwe, horrible little park.
For the boring times.
Out of there and back into farming on my family farm. And we lasted there a year. Brita and I got married December 1969 in Kwekwe. And just as you have met Peggy Tapson, my dear girlfriend of now,
yes,
she and her husband were married in Kwekwe in December 1969 as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, Brita's parents had a cattle ranch and dairy next to Kwekwe town, Kwekwe in the Midlands of Rhodesia. So her father said, listen, I'm getting old. Won't you, if you want to come and take over here, you're welcome to.
Okay.
He was a very old father, much older than my folks. So I said to my dad and my uncle Dick, I'm afraid we are going to leave. We're going down there to run that place, which we did in 1971.
Okay.
And that's where we stayed for 32 years, and that's where we started our hunting safaris, from Kwekwe.
There was some hunting to be done in Kwekwe. There was that Radio Conservancy.
Yes, there's a lot of plains game.
And leopards and things.
Yeah, some of that too, yes. So, and it's still on, there still is some hunting going on.
For sure. My
ex-partner, Alan Lowe, his grandson runs hunting on the same ranch where they were.
Okay.
Yeah, Missouri Ranch. So we started, in amongst all our cattle ranching, I had butcheries and a dairy and a wonderful manager who looked after everything. So we could get away and start into, and we had Chirisa Safari area during the height of our bush war. We actually had sandbags stacked this high around the tents.
Really?
And we dug little slit trenches outside so if there was an attack, by the freedom fighters,
Yes.
we had a bit of protection.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Whilst you were hunting.
Foreign clients.
And they came. The foreign clients came.
Foreign clients coming into that situation. I mean,
They were braver then than they are now.
they were, and we had the most wonderful hunting. The buffalo in Chorizo, I think,
Oh, yeah.
the couple of seasons we were there, I don't think anyone shot anything under a 44-inch.
I
Our
heard that
best was just
Chorizo
under
was the
51.
apple of the eye of the safari industry.
Back then, it
Yeah,
was
big
unbelievable.
elephants, big buffaloes, everything.
Yeah.
Leopards, lions.
Yes. So we had.
And you had it.
Yeah, we had that.
Yeah. You're a lucky man, huh?
Yeah, it was the most fabulous area, and
Beautiful too. Like
that
the
Sengwe,
landscape.
yeah,
I mean,
that
it's still
Sengwe
beautiful.
Gorge, and I bet I haven't been back
Yeah.
for decades, but
Oh, you got to go back. It's on the rebound.
is it?
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys.
A lot of work's going into it to make it better.
They had the research station then going.
Okay.
Rowan Martin was the guy in charge, and they were some of the pioneers in collaring elephants and tracking them. At that time in the late 70s, yeah.
Insane. Back
It's
then.
interesting to see what stuff they came up with. So yeah, that was Chorizo, and of course from Kwekwe town it was a longish day, but a feasible day's drive. So if we had a few days off, we could come home, resupply, and go back there.
That must have been sort of the early days of safari. Right?
Yeah, indeed.
How did it all go? Tell us about a good safari you had in Chorizo.
I had lots of funny experiences there. A gentleman called Chuck Bazzi brought his son, 10 years old, Chipper. And Chipper wanted to shoot a cow elephant, tuskless cow, and a buffalo.
Huh. At 10 years old?
At 10 years old.
Yeah.
And
it's an early starter.
So this was a problem. Chuck, lovely guy, and of course I'd meet up with them at the conventions. And I met up with Chuck, with Chipper. I suppose his name was Christopher, but everyone called him Chipper.
Yeah.
A little 10-year-old, I met up with him when he was a strapping policeman. He came to a convention,
later in life, you met up with him.
Yeah, decades later.
Oh, wow.
And his father, Chuck, wanted to film everything. Now, back then, filming equipment was quite chunky. So we had a guy carrying a tripod and somebody carrying a camera and this. He wanted to film. And I said, well, Chuck, filming an elephant hunt, these weren't handheld. It was all on tripod. It is feasible, a cow elephant. But the buffalo, I doubt. To find a Dagga boy who's going to stand there while you rig up your tripod and your camera. So, anyway, we achieved both. But,
wow.
Of course, he couldn't handle a 375. In Zimbabwe, minimum caliber for dangerous game, 375,
Yeah.
Holland. And so, I don't think Parks will put me inside for this now, however long ago that is now.
There was hardly any rules
years.
back then, man.
Yeah, there weren't any rules back. No, there were. That was because I said to Chuck, I said, look, Chipper can't handle a 375. He said, no. So I've got a 30-06 here. We're going to have to shoot it with a 30-06.
And hopefully some good ammo.
Yeah, 220 grain, whatever they were. And I managed to pull it off. And he got it on film. And there's a picture of Chipper sitting on his buffalo. I'm not sure, in that book.
Fantastic. Yeah.
There's a little tiny 10-year-old.
So how did you get it right? I mean, how did you get this? How did the buffalo hunt happen?
Well, Andy, stroke of luck, the hunting gods. Dear Diana was looking down on us and said, this poor PH needs help here.
Yeah.
So she put a big old Dagga boy in a tiny little dry riverbed with reeds, and he was grazing the reeds, and we tracked him.
Yeah.
And there he was, head far away, thinking of better days, eating reeds.
All by himself, lone Dagga boy.
Put up the sticks, put the 30-06, And I'm standing here with my 458 ready to whack it.
So you're on the riverbank now.
We're up on the bank.
Yeah,
And there's this guy like, I don't know, 30, 40 meters away, whatever.
Okay.
Well within range.
Yeah. Now I've got the good image in my head.
Yeah. And so slightly quartering away, but we'd come. It was fantastic. It really was a stroke of luck with this little guy with a 30-06 to see this big buffalo bull standing.
Wow. And the cameramen are preparing their goods
Daddy
there.
had his camera up, you know.
Was Dad filming?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
the videographer.
That was the thing. He did all the filming.
Wow.
But it was all this old kit, you know. I mean, when I say old, it was brilliant, like yours, but it was much bigger and heavier and not, you know, like the hunt I've just been on with, you know, guys just carrying their video cameras in one hand.
Yeah.
No, not the...
Thank goodness I'm born in my time.
Yeah, so anyway, he got his cow elephant and his buffalo bull.
Fantastic, and all on film, hey?
Yeah.
Jeez, how did the Duggar boy look?
Beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was he worn and old?
Yeah.
How we like him.
Lovely old buffalo. Yeah.
And all by himself, eh?
Yeah.
There's something about a lone Duggar boy that I just makes my day.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
They're such amazing,
Yes.
hard animals. They're just so tough, and
Yeah.
to survive on your own, any animal out there. I mean, with all the lions and
Oh.
I mean poachers and hunters, and to survive that long and
Yeah.
be that wily.
Poaching back in those days was not an issue. Funny
Why?
enough, I don't know. I think the population for a start was nothing like as great as it is now.
There's probably more work around then as
And
well.
there was more work around.
But
And also, I think, Andy, you know, there was still a certain amount of wildlife lurking in those wild places of that Gokwe area.
Yeah.
You know.
So there was still game in the tribal trust lands.
Yeah, I reckon.
So they were just having at it there. No one really cared really.
No.
But now it's the point where everything's finished in those
Exactly.
village lands. So now they're looking more into the reserve
wildlife areas. Yeah.
wildlife areas. There's such a big problem these days. Hey, Richard.
It's a huge, big problem.
That's a cadenza. I mean, and you know, thankfully we've got hunters that still come and support these marginal areas. You know?
Yes.
Because without that finance, there's no real viable alternative to looking after those areas than hunting.
No, exactly. And I think, you know, the Department of National Parks and Wildlife Management, with financial constraints, as most government departments are in most countries, certainly in Africa, they just don't have the funds to employ herds of anti-poaching guys and vehicles and all the rest of it. You know, to be serious, you know, you want the odd spotter plane and stuff like that. You know, did you see that interesting thing that CM Safari's anti-poaching unit in Dundee? They've got a dog, an Alsatian.
Yes.
You saw that?
Yeah. So it's becoming very common, especially
and they picked up those poachers and they tracked them back into Mozambique and got ivory there and all sorts of stuff. I thought that was magnificent.
No, absolutely. I think the dogs are a game changer. There's a guy by the name of Roy Sparks in Zimbabwe anyway, who's the head of sort of the dog department of, he sort of supplies all these trained dogs to anti-poaching teams.
Oh, yeah, his name was mentioned.
Roy Sparks, yeah. And I mean, the only problem with the valley is the tsetse fly, obviously.
That's
so
it.
that dog is in high danger of getting bitten by the tsetse flies. But I think what they do, and I may be wrong, is they will keep the dogs in sort of a fly-proof net during the day.
Yeah.
In a little cage, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then at nighttime, that's when he'll go and get on tracks and whatever. And I mean, the dogs especially, I know it's horrible to say, but they are kind of more cannon fodder than a human is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're good for that final attack when, you know, it may be an armed poacher or they're wielding axes or whatever. The dog is faster, more able to catch that person.
Yeah.
And, it, you know, the human life thing is saved.
Yeah,
Because also, I mean, if I was chasing a poacher and he turned around like, winding his axe up, I don't think I would commit fully. I think I'd probably, this is where my chase ends.
Yeah.
The dog doesn't think like that.
No.
So.
No, I hadn't thought of that point, but of course it's true. It's true that if anyone was starting to open fire and old Harland out in front,
The dog doesn't
but at least it gives the guys behind a chance to pinpoint where the shooting's coming from.
No, for sure. For sure.
And if you lose the dog, well, it's part of the war, eh?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there are lots of good people doing good work out there for the anti-poaching, for sure. Folks, when your journey takes you across international borders with firearms, precision matters. PWP Travel specializes in premium international travel for hunters, managing everything from flights to complex rifle permits with expert care. Their experienced team navigates every regulation and detail, ensuring a seamless, secure journey from remote destinations to global hubs. This is more than travel planning. It's a tailored experience built on reliability and excellence, so you can focus fully on your pursuit. Visit pwptravel.com or email info@pwptravel.com. Now back to the episode. Did you ever come across any sort of black magic? So I'm fascinated by the Shona culture, and there's all the cultures of Africa actually, and there's a lot of superstition and. Are there any of those that ever came into your hunting career that maybe turned out to be something more than you anticipated? Or
Andy, no. Quite honestly, I can't say that I didn't come across it, but it's all these decades ago, funny little things happen, and you just kind of move on. But I didn't have anything that I can recall now that was either a warning from someone, watch out, you pushing yourself, or no, I didn't have anything like that.
Okay.
What slightly on a similar subject, maybe, I have a great faith in my instinct, and I actually mention it on a buffalo hunt again when I was a teenager on Davuli. A wounded buffalo, I'd wounded it, and we were tracking it. And something said to me, just get out from behind the tracker. This thing is coming. And I got out, sure enough. Out he came and I whacked him. That kind of...
Tell us that story in a little bit more depth, if you don't mind. I mean, wounding an animal, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's one of the occupational hazards, I guess. Clients often beat themselves up when they wound an animal because one, they feel like they haven't done their job properly.
Yes. Two,
they put people in danger, but it happens.
Yeah. So
how did this one be wounded, and how did you follow, and what happened?
We had besides my good old friend Tsuro, there was a local employee of Davuli Ranch called Nyson. Now Nyson, he was a big, tall Shangon guy. Good looking. I mean, he was really a hell of a nice guy. And he had a dog called Poison, as in toxic, poison, which tickled us. Well, Tsuro, of course, pulled his leg. No, poison. You want to give us poison, Uh-huh. Anyway, so we're out hunting buffalo bulls, and I don't remember exactly the circumstances we found them, but anyway, I shot at one, and like a body shot on most animals, they run a bit. And so we follow up the blood, normal thing, sit down for 15, 20 minutes.
Give it some time to die.
And then pick up the blood spoor. Anyway, the blood spoor went on and on and on and on and on. And we're getting into that riverine forest along the Sabi River. Yeah. Savi, they call it now.
Thick and nasty.
Yes, absolutely. And so Poison, the dog, he's sniffing along with us. And Nyson, the tracker, this big Shangon guy, he loves snuff. And you'd see him pull his snuff out. And he never sneezed.
Yeah.
Thank heavens.
Yeah, nostrils of steel.
Absolutely. And then myself and Tsuro, and he, of course, taking, the lead. And we went on for maybe half an hour or so. And that was suddenly when I got this feeling. These guys are in front of me, that's wrong. So I kind of scooted around when I saw a little gap. And they looked at me and I said, it's okay. And I had a BSA 458 Winchester Magnum I'd bought from Paul Krobler for £50. He had shot untold thousands of elephants with this thing. Oh, golly. But it was brilliant. Anyway, sure enough, seconds later, out comes this big old Nyati out of the thick riverine.
And he's coming.
Yeah, and he's coming. So managed to put him down.
Really? Did you brain him?
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, there's no other way to put him down, right?
I had a similar one, but in open country with a client from Switzerland down in Dundee. He had wounded a buffalo, and we chased them, and we put multiple shots into this thing as it was running, him and me. Eventually it went down in a bit of an open place, and he'd run out of ammunition. He gave his rifle to Tsuro, and we walked up to it, and Andy, literally half a dozen paces away, this guy gets up, this big old bull buffalo.
And gives you that look.
He just got up on his feet. I could hardly believe it. And my thought was, don't shoot him in the head. You blast the horn, And I shot him in the neck, and it had no effect.
But obviously from frontal or what?
No, he's still, he's kind of getting up.
Okay.
And his head's up like this, but his body's still rising. The front legs are still rising. So I could see his neck, and but I obviously missed everything. I hit the neck, but no vertebrae. And I reloaded and I whacked him right through the horn. So that was him done. But that was another occasion where I looked at him and I just had my gun ready. And sure enough, the guy gets up right in front of us. I couldn't believe it. I think we put 12 bullets into him.
Yeah, they just have the will to live, hey?
Oh, amazing.
How was the ammo when you were... I mean, ammo's come a long way. I understand that. We've got some really good ammo.
Yes.
But, what was it like back then?
There's a lot of story about the 458 Winchester Magnum ammunition, and it got a bad name. And in a way, deservedly. There were some bad loadings, and I don't think I should mention the names of the companies, but we all know who they are from the US of A.
Really? Come on, tell us.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
And
you tell me later. And everyone's going to be like, what are those bullets?
Yeah.
But anyway, it was in the past. Let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, exactly. You see, the 458 Winchester Magnum was developed, I should know the date, early 50s. And there were some dud rounds, yes.
Well, how do you
Never
mean?
with
what?
me.
They're just like faulty charges? Or?
Faulty charges, faulty powder, clumping powder, maybe whatever. Somebody once...
Not wet or something.
Yeah, somebody pulled some bullets. I've actually got the letter about it. And he found a mix of flake and what do they call it, like little grain. The powder.
Yeah, the little bollies.
Yeah, the little balls and the flakes mixed in one. So of that period, I must have been lucky, and Paul Krobler too, that we never had a dangerous situation. However, I will say, Andy, if you had a beautiful shot at an elephant, for example, side brain shot, whatever, and it didn't go down or went down, got up, we didn't have time to explore why didn't that bullet hit the brain and kill the elephant? We didn't know, you just didn't have time. So there may have been some dud rounds, but we just weren't aware. Next thing you give it another shot, and that was a good one. And I either put it down to my fault. I didn't shoot straight. But later on, I used to think, I wonder if any of those were actually faulty rounds.
100%. I bet you. I mean, even in this modern day and age, when you've got all the technology and everything, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess back then a lot of the stuff was hand loaded and it wasn't this factory ammunition and stuff. So I mean, there's also the human error that can go. And guy comes into work and he's had a bit of a long night, and you're not going to tell the boss. You're going to keep loading bullets, but put the head on. It looks the same as the rest of them.
Yes.
You even find it these days. Very well known. The problem is, like, I guess these days as well, like, you get different head manufacturers.
Yes.
But then you get different companies loading those same heads. So you might have a good head, but now they've put a funky powder or whatever.
Yes.
So it's good to find your trusted things, I know for me, Swift Ammunition is my go-to, because I know the owner. I'm very lucky like that to be associated with them, but also, I mean, the owner is just such a perfectionist. If you're buying Swift bullets loaded, or Swift ammunition loaded by Swift, I almost guarantee you those are going to be good bullets.
It has a great reputation,
Yeah, they do. But, I've seen other good brands loaded by other people that don't perform well just because of the load, because of whatever powder they put in there. So it's a tricky thing.
It is. You're right, Andy. It doesn't just fall into place. The Winchester and Remington 4.58s had steel jackets covered with copper to stop them rusting. And there's pictures in this Ndlovu book of ones I cut in half with a hacksaw. And brilliant. Didn't bend. I mean, very few. I think there's photos there of, I had sacks of recovered bullets from elephants. And interesting to see what they were. Though the bullets were brilliant, but, I have to say, I love the word bullet as in projectile. I don't use the word head, but it's commonly used these days. You got the cartridge case and a bullet in the end of it.
Yes.
So those were brilliant, but the powders were the problem. But what you've been saying about today, I am a huge fan of hand loading. Now you know what you're doing. You know what you put
hand loading yourself.
Yeah, I've done a lot for my 505.
Yeah, but when someone else hand loads for you, it's now you.
No.
You don't know what happened there.
So that, then you know exactly what you've got. And my 4.58s I also reloaded. But this, of course, is decades after I was doing a big hunting. This is like, safari hunting and so on.
Yes.
But I knew what I was using. I had an interesting, I'll mention this, we're talking about ammunition. The Mavros family, Patrick and his 4 sons, we booked those auctioned hunts in Nyakasanga, Zambezi Valley.
Yes.
For 5 years running, 2006, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Is that 5? And I was their nurse. I took their PH, call it.
Yeah.
On all 4 sons with the elephant and buffalo hunting. And we had the most incredible hunts. The one year Patrick actually bought 2 consecutive hunts, so we had a whole month there.
Oh,
even better.
Fantastic. Yeah, they love the bush, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Mavros family, yeah.
They have all my firearms.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish I'd kept I've just brought the 505 back from Zambezi Valley, and I gave it back to Patrick because he's got it in his big gun safe.
Okay.
And Peggy said, "Oh, what a pity you didn't have it to show." And
to show
anyway,
everybody, yeah.
It's a historical weapon.
Yeah.
I've traced it back. It was built in 1927-28, and I've traced its owners back to about 1948. Anyway, we're off the subject. These bullets. I had a hand loading 4.58 Winchester Magnum, and on one occasion a buffalo had been wounded, and we were following it. This is in the riverine forest of the Rukomichi River, so we got mana pools just across the sand. We don't want to lose it, because then you got to go and speak to the warden, and there's a whole hoo-ha. So anyway, we track these 3 buffalo bulls, 1 wounded in the head, and didn't track far, maybe half an hour. in the riverine. We were just getting on the edge of it. It was a bit dry, and the trackers just dropped and pointed. And I stepped out behind where I could see, and there were the 3 bulls standing about maybe 50, 60 paces away.
In the riverbed?
No,
now they're out.
Luckily, still in the Jess, adjacent to the riverine forest.
Okay.
And without thinking, I don't think very often. Without thinking, I shouldered my 4.58 and whacked the bull at the back. They were exactly paced, 1, 2, 3, all looking at us. And I just up and shot this guy, shoulder shot. And he dropped there. Now, it's not often you see a buffalo bull drop in his tracks on a body shot, apart from spine or neck.
Yeah.
So, and I was using a solid brass jumbo, 480 grain maybe it is. I've got all the figures there.
Yeah.
Hand load in my 4.58 Winchester Magnum.
And where were you aiming?
And the bullet went through it.
Straight through.
Out the other side of this buffalo.
Is that a soft, that bullet you're mentioning?
No, the solid brass with a slightly concave nose.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and then rings to grip the lands down the barrel.
Yes. Hey, fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell me, so many people ask, what's the best caliber for Africa? Everyone's got their opinions, including myself. What's your opinion on weapon-wise? For a client. For
big game. For a client.
For a client.
Exactly.
Because it's 2 different things.
Yes, 100%. Unless the client practices a lot with a big bore, and I'm talking about the 450s upwards, 500s, 577s, things like that. If a guy is comfortable, I've just been in camp with a Norwegian, Anders, and he's got his 375 Holland and Holland. I said, and he's been out here several times. This, I think, was his 3rd or 4th trip, hunting big game. And, he obviously had confidence in his shooting, confidence in the weapon. I said, that's the way to go. Use the rifle enough. If it's what a guy uses on caribou and musk oxen or something in the northern Siberia, it's adequate.
Yeah.
It's adequate.
Yeah.
If you do a lot of shooting and you know what you're shooting and where to shoot, etc. So what is ideal? Andy, what is ideal is what the guy's practiced with. And if he uses a double 500 a lot back home in the States and maybe takes it out in the field and shoots some, even a gopher or some whatever, but at least use it. The problem with shooting on ranges is you're expecting the bang, and isn't it? I do.
Yeah. No,
I hate
everybody
shooting on
does.
ranges.
Everybody does. Yeah, no one likes shooting a target with a big caliber.
How often can you, after shooting buffalo, elephant, or a lion or whatever, do you remember the bangs and the kicks and nothing?
Nothing.
But you're on the range, And I think that's where this Big Boar Association of South Africa, BASA, were brilliant. We had moving targets. So your mind is now picking this moving thing and looking where to shoot instead of kind of freezing at a static target.
Yeah, and waiting for the kickback.
Yeah, exactly.
No, for
and
sure.
Some of those, and also the fit. I had a Ruger 458 once I bought cheaply, and I gave it away cheaply. That Ruger just didn't fit me. And I've had a lot of 458s. So
the fit is important.
It's important. Absolutely. That thing kicked my jawbone.
Something that is
and it's not a massive cartridge, but it still was horrible to shoot.
Yeah. Okay, here's on. So ideally for a client, 375 is for the general client is a good caliber because it can do elephants, can do buffaloes, can do lions, can do duikers, can do everything.
Exactly.
And it's a hell of a bullet. I mean, a 375 has got some serious penetration.
Yeah.
What 375 is the best? Yeah,
Which you mean? Which brand?
Yeah, what's your opinion? So, I mean, I was asked this question I think it was this morning, to be
Oh.
honest.
Ah.
Client said, what 375 would you get? And so, I've got some experience in the bush and in hunting and all this
Yeah,
stuff, but
yeah,
there's
sure.
other people with more experience. So my initial thing is I'm going to ask other people, right? I asked Guav Johnson because he's a good friend of mine and he's very experienced,
Yeah.
and he uses a 375 himself.
Uh-huh.
So his answer was Winchester Model 70 Pre-64. He reckons it doesn't fail. It's a
Yes.
good weapon. It's hardy.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Would you?
I would agree. I would agree with that. That Winchester Model 70 Pre-64 has a great reputation. The Norwegian hunter who was in the camp now, he had exactly that. It's coincident. Andy, when you asked me the question first, I have to say that having been really kind of out of the hunting game for the last, decade or two, active hunting and handling other people's rifles and seeing what they do and reading hunting magazines and firearm magazines, I'm not up to scratch, up to date at all with different makes of rifles. Heim, big rifle makers now, popular doubles and bolt actions. You've still got, the odd British ones going. I wouldn't give someone advice on that because I'm not close enough to the action these days.
Copied.
Yeah.
Copied. All right. Well, that's a fair answer.
Yeah.
But I think generally speaking, it's safe to say that the bullet is more important than the gun.
The bullet is the most important. If it doesn't do its job properly, then it doesn't matter if it's a Holland and Holland double Royal model. It's not going to help. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And recently a good friend of mine had a double rifle of very good make, not British, break down. And I was in the camp. This was a few months back. And they drove into camp in the afternoon, and his double was jammed. So he'd fired the 2 shots off. Him and the client came in from the hunt. And I, what's the problem? Well, it won't open. His double 500 wouldn't open.
This is the pH.
The pHs.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Imagine you're in that situation.
This is something else.
When the poop is hitting the fan.
Woo, boy. Anyway, we're sitting at the dining room table in Camp Nyakasanga, and it was, because this client is a good friend of ours, and he invited us on this trip. So anyway, that's how I happened to be there just when this happened to the rifle. And we sat at the dining room table, and I fiddled with this thing, and I fiddled with it. And I'm not a gunsmith. In fact, the client knows far more about gunsmithing than I do, but he couldn't open it. Anyway, I managed to. The crossbolt had disconnected from the lever. And how I got it out, I can't quite remember. Anyway, I managed to pull it out and open the gun. And then, of course, we got it into its 3 components then and there. Apparently, it was a broken spring.
Really, eh?
And he's had it fixed. Yeah.
Hey.
And that was a well-known European gun maker.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know which one it was.
You
but
probably know.
I've put a few together there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it can happen to any gun at any time, and I guess you just want it to happen at the right time. Because if it happens at the wrong time, that's the end of the game.
That's seriously bad news.
That's one thing we're very unfortunate with in Zimbabwe, I think, is we have like very few gunsmiths.
Yes.
So we can't really choose because it's either that one or that one, maybe.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to have them do everything. So you pay the top dollar and you can't really choose someone else who might be better or whatever reason,
And shipping firearms out for repair is a horrendous procedure.
Yeah. No, anytime a rifle crosses a boundary, you're in the
So
bureaucracy.
you're right. It's a profession which, I suppose well-used weapons are quite thin on the ground with our population when you compare to Europe and America, places like that, with the millions of firearms being used all the time, hunting firearms I'm talking about. So, that would be like a hobby for somebody more than a full-time living.
No,
to be a gunsmith.
100%. That's also the other problem, I guess. It's a part-time job.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The old gun shops, Benyon's and Purdy and Harrison's, they had gunsmiths. But, of course, they've all disappeared.
How many elephants did you hunt? Hard to say.
As Samaki Salmon said when the Prince Edward asked him, he said, "You might as well ask a dentist how many teeth he's pulled, sir."
Yeah.
Now, when I was early 20, I remember getting it to 200, and then I didn't bother counting.
Yeah, for sure. So lots and lots. Did you ever, like, I hate to ask this, but did you ever have any regrets for that, or like think like, like when you shot one, like, this is actually too much for me, or I don't know.
Andy, not in that way. I mention in my book, because there's some pictures with little tiny baby elephants lying dead.
Because you had to shoot the whole herd sometimes.
That was horrible. I mean, that was. If you ask me that question, yes, it applied to killing anything that wasn't at least half-grown or a teenager elephant. Those little guys, it was miserable. There was nothing else I could do.
Because they're cute, aren't they? They're so flippin' cute, and they just, they got to...
Had to do it.
Yeah.
Had to do it. It was like a vet with euthanasia. Your darling pet, there's nothing more I can do for it. And it was that situation. There were no zoos to take baby elephants. I mean, down there, it was impossible.
Yeah,
they had to go. I mean, it was my orders. But besides that, I hated having to do it.
For sure.
But it was just one of those nasty things, as I say, like a vet giving euthanasia to your pet dog.
Yeah.
You've got to do it.
Was there ever a time that hunting got boring?
No, never.
So exciting.
Not at all. Yeah,
Hey?
It is.
It's so nice.
Being out and the whole hunting experience. And I'm reading a book now, which was given me by one of Buzz's clients, called On Hunting. And it's interesting hearing other people's points of view. And one of the things that they draw attention to, it's not just the kill. It's the whole experience, whether it's at home in the States or Norway or Austria. The whole build-up and the planning and the this and the that, and then, setting the animal up one way or the other, whatever one's hunting. And in Africa, of course, we know what it's like. It's a lot of hard work, big game. That's hunting. That's the exciting part. Can't get bored with that.
100%. I mean, I'm about to get my Zimbabwean professional hunter's qualification.
Oh.
And I think something that I would be good at is just helping people to enjoy everything around the hunt, because I'm fascinated by insects and trees and plants and cultures, and a lot of that is what makes up a good time in Africa. I would say.
Yes.
As well as some good hunting, of course. You're always going to have your quarry, but along the way, it's nice to show people, and I'm very much looking forward to that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Talking about culture, and you're obviously saying about being so interested in Shona culture and so on. On this trip we've just been down in Nyakasanga, we go for walks. When the hunters go out, we walk. And in the scrub Mapani, dry as hell as it is now, grey, dead, harsh, hot, walking along through the stuff. And I look down and I see a little brown thing. And it's sitting right over there now. I pick it up. I said to Peggy, "This is metal." 2 steps later, I pick up a spearhead. And another piece of metal, and which I guess maybe were was a knife blade. Anyway, thank you. So this has been forged, and around this area,
No ways, you found that.
we imagine
That's so
a
cool.
chance in 10 million of stumbling across in the middle of millions of acres of Zambezi Valley that from when people lived there.
That is incredible. I mean,
And-
how old is that?
How old? And we've also retrieved a whole lot of slag from the ironmonger, what's the name you call the blacksmith, from his ovens. Lots of chunks of slag.
What is slag?
It's that sort of molten from melting the iron ore, and it's half sand, half rock, half metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's like an off-take or whatever,
Yeah,
something that you don't
yeah.
really use.
Yes.
And what's that other piece you got there?
Well, I think because funnily enough, we went back to look another day, and we found another bit which fits perfectly this profile, a little short bit. I can only think it was a knife.
Of sorts.
What would it have been that people, it's not a... First I thought, it's a strap off an old packing case or something like that. But when we found this, literally...
Yeah, that is definitely a
few
spearhead.
No, these are the same era.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is talk to historians. I want to know who knows about the indigenous people who lived in that Chirundu.
It would have been the Tonga, surely.
Must have been.
Batonka,
And when,
Tonga.
When and what? I'd like to know who they were. When were they there? When did they go?
Those
Why
are
did
the
they go?
original Bushmen, boy. Those oaks. I think, like these days, a lot of the trackers come from that Masoka village and those places that are down there in the valley.
Yeah.
In the Dandy.
Yes.
But I think those people back in the day roamed. I don't think
Yes.
there was no reason for them to have a set village.
Long-term.
Yeah, back then they
habitation.
weren't farming things.
No,
They
you
were just
couldn't down there.
they were living off the bush.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that Tuto tribe that live in the valley?
The Vadomas.
The Vadomas, they got
Yeah.
their feet
Yes.
are this shape, folks. The feet, like two toes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild. That is,
It is.
something, because I mean, I hate to guess, but I guess that would be for climbing trees, right?
I wonder.
I mean, the feet. I mean, if you look at a baboon's feet, his feet are like this.
Yeah. The thumb is far set from the rest of the hand.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's the big toe, I
Yeah.
guess, on the,
Or the toe and the
Vadoma.
feet on the back feet,
Fascinating.
Yeah. I
And
know.
how many centuries people been living in in Zambezi Valley?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a historian, but I like to let my imagination go way back.
Well, that's why I'm dying to try and find. There's a history society of Zimbabwe, isn't there, in existence?
There must be. I mean, Zimbabwe is full of such interesting people.
Yeah.
That's why we're very blessed with this podcast, because so far we've just been touching on Zimbabwe, but there is a host of interesting people in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And it's been so nice to have you on. For the folks out there that are dying to read your books, how do they find them?
I thought they were all sold out long ago.
Uh-huh.
And 3 years ago, in other words, 17 years after I thought they were finished, I get a WhatsApp from Rian saying, I've just found some boxes of your Ndlovu books in my warehouse.
Huh.
What? So we got a very efficient runner. And as I say, that's like nearly a quarter of a ton of books, because I think there were about 200. And they're 1.3 kgs each.
Yeah.
They rocked up here, Andy, in the back of a little Honda Fit,
Come on.
bulging with these boxes, this big, with like 10, 12 books in each. So that's how out of the blue.
Oh, wow. So there are still some available.
I've got 25 left. I just
All right.
got, yesterday, I went and got the last 2 boxes out of Patrick's warehouse.
Okay, so the book in Ndlovu
Yeah.
is still available for 25 lucky customers out there. So how would someone contact you to get that?
Well, we usually just arrange it on WhatsApp.
Okay.
And then we'll swap emails.
Okay.
Because when it comes to bank accounts, I've actually got a few. Patrick very kindly takes them over when he flies to his big shop in London. So I've got a half a dozen or 5 or 10 over in his London shop, because DHL from there to the US is like £30. From here, it's like $120 or something.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
But it's small money in the grand scheme of things. I mean, there's only a certain number of these books in circulation, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to get them, get them. Who cares what the shipping costs?
Yeah. Well, I know, but it's silly. I'd say this is a $90 book, but the shipping's 122 from Zimbabwe. I'd rather say the shipping was 26 quid, $35.
No, sure, I understand. But I
Yeah.
think people out there understand the value of these books because, I mean, it's also it's a different era. Do you know what I'm saying? That era doesn't exist anymore. So ain't no more books being written from that era.
Yeah.
The Hunting Imperative, is that also done? There's no more being printed?
No.
Sure. So if that comes out,
Unless you ever ask Ludo whether he's...
gonna make some more.
Yeah, but he'd better ask me, because I want my royalties.
No, for sure. I'll catch Ludo.
Those are both obviously their property to republish.
Yeah.
But maybe, the demand is not there. It's not worth printing a couple of hundred. They need to do a decent print run.
Okay, and then the other one, is that one available? It's an African epic, right?
Yeah.
That's the name, an
African
African
epic.
epic.
Again, I just see them
Popping up every now and then.
popping up now and again.
Okay, so it's not like they're
obviously,
for sale
an old
online
hunter dies, and the
Yeah.
kids are townies. They don't know what to do with a library like that, so they kind of put them out. By the way, interestingly,
But I mean, you can keep an eye out for them, right? And
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
come up, you can sell them on to other people and whatever. So
Yeah.
maybe if you're looking for one of these books or all of these books, do send Richard a WhatsApp message, and then he can tell you, hey, one's come up, here it is, this is how much it cost, and organize, facilitate. I don't know. Is that a possibility?
yeah, I did that with a friend in Bangladesh. I saw one of these, and I said, quickly get onto this website. There's one of the Hunting Imperative available there right now. So yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Incidentally, just an aside, I saw one of these advertised in a British bookshop for £400. I actually took a picture of my screen of this, £400, and it
Yeah.
was sold. And then a friend of mine found one and sent me a WhatsApp picture of it, a South African, 9,650 Rand for an Ndlovu book.
That's like almost $1,000, isn't
I don't know how much it is, but it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
it? People are making more money than you made.
Yeah.
Hey?
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Anyway, I suppose, I mean, there's rights and all sorts of laws against these things. But I mean, you wrote the book. You probably be handy just to have a like a digital copy that you could sell. You send it there. There's a
Yeah,
digital copy,
yeah.
and you read it on your iPad or
Yes.
whatever. I mean, surely.
Well, anybody who's brave enough to take that on, I'd be willing to split the split the proceeds. It's out of my. I don't sit well. I don't like sitting long at a computer, or I sit to eat food, but mostly I'm on my feet, and I couldn't sit in front of a computer and fight my way through all this. I don't know how I ever did it with this one, self-published. I really don't know how I achieved that looking back, but I did. I registered with the ISBN number and all this jazz. I created my own publishing company called Ivory Imprints,
Wow.
and the address is still my flat in Greystone Park, Harare.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But
Well, I hope people can get their hands on these books because there's lots of good things inside the books. Folks, I often get the question, where can we get one of your awesome Buffalo Skull t-shirts or one of your cool caps? The answer is www.tiafive.com. Our website, tia5.com. Folks, you can get all your TIA merch there, including caps and hoodies and fishing shirts, even hunting shirts, your knife, everything is there, folks. So head over to tia5.com to get your merch. Now back to the episode. One last question. What would you say is the most dangerous animal?
unwounded, I'd probably a cow elephant. Wounded, I think, take your pick, not elephants. But definitely buffalo. Leopard. I've been mauled by a leopard.
No.
Oh.
How did we miss that story? Come on, then, we still have time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we've got all day. I want to talk to you. It's a special thing.
Okay, we were on a safari in Dundee, 1981-ish, probably. And I had a very excitable French-speaking Swiss client, Marcel. He'll be long gone, so I won't say all his name. Anyway, Marcel Geminiani. And just to show you how excitable he was, we were driving down a road, that main road that goes to Kanyemba through Dundee. We were on that. And
in a cruiser or a landy?
No, an open cruiser.
Okay.
Completely
no
open.
Doors,
no cab.
No windows, no nothing. Very nice.
So we Tsuro says, "Bus, stop, Nyati, buffalo." So I put on brakes, stop, and the next thing, a rifle goes off over my head. Boom! I nearly shot out the driver's seat. I turned on, and Marcel had shot at one of these buffalo like 150 yards away. There was a bunch of bulls. And I said, "What are you doing?" Je tire. I shot it. Boy. Oh, my golly. So, anyway, off we go. Sure enough, we find blood. And we tracked it up. And we eventually killed this thing.
Dagga boy, was it at least solid?
Beautiful Dagga boy.
Sure. So you picked a good one anyway.
This should have warned me that this guy is just, doesn't follow the rules or anything. He has got no hunting sense in Africa. So we had a leopard. We had a beautiful leopard blind on a riverbed. And there was on the bank of the river was a big rock with probably a mapani tree, I forget, with a horizontal branch and a big rotting zebra haunch on it. Beautiful, and a leopard was feeding on this. So we get into our blind in the evening, and sure enough, Mr. Leopard comes to eat.
What time?
It was just getting dark. We could see.
It's leopard hour, eh?
It was leopard hour. So I'm telling Marcel, okay, just take it easy. He's resting nicely. And I said,
I'm excited and just sitting here.
Yeah, this leopard, of course, he's standing on his back legs with his claws fastened into this leg, and he's biting it. And I said to him, just shoot him. So he shot, and the leopard bounced and growled and leapt off the rock and into the riverbed and gone. So, whoops, he looked a bit too active. When as you have done, when you see an animal shot, you often get an idea of, was it a good solid hit or not quite so solid? So anyway, we went back to the vehicle, and we got, now Tsuro is a big strong guy. I got the 12-volt battery out of the Land Cruiser on his shoulder, and a spotlight. Me with a spotlight.
Who's holding the gun?
I also had the gun.
And the spotlight,
so
okay.
I said to Marcel, you just sit here. We'll just go a little bit. Maybe it's dead just there. We go there. And we get into this thicker and thicker along the river.
So Marcel's been left behind?
Yeah, he's sitting in the car. And eventually I said, and then we heard this animal move. And I said to Tsuro, we're going to get hurt. We're going to come back in the morning. If hyenas have eaten it,
tough luck. Yeah.
Anyway, we go back next morning. Now, my partner, Fritz Meyer, was with me because there were 3 clients. Yeah, there were 3 clients. And so Fritz, his trackers, my trackers, and myself. Yeah, so there was like 5 or 6 of us. Pick up the tracks, and we go with it. And we break out into open Mapani country.
Sorry, there's 2 guns, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fritz has got his 30-06. I've got a double-barrel shotgun.
Using what? Slugs or SSG.
Or whatever. Okay. Yeah. And we didn't go all that far. You know, that Mapani country, the big trees, you can see forever. And
You're feeling a little comfortable there.
yeah,
It's better than the riverine.
guys are, following the tracks on, you know, lucky we could see the tracks, sandy spots and so on. And we came up, I was kind of walking a bit at one side, and there was I could see the tracks were going towards this big Mapani tree that had been felled by elephants long back. And I walked up to it, and I saw this like a flattened area, and I bent down, and it was warm. And I said, Fritz, and the trackers, I said, this Zimbabwe's just got up from here. He's been lying here, it's hot. Andy, I must have taken 10 paces, and this leopard shot out from nowhere, from underground. Now, I made a huge mistake, and I tell this story to a lot of people because I want them to listen. I've got trackers tracking. I've got the gun. I'm the hunter.
And you're looking for tracks.
And I'm looking for tracks, idiot. And it paid.
But it happens a lot.
Bad dividends. So there I'm looking, and the next thing, this guy,
he's on you.
With a huge grunt, and I pulled trigger from my hip, and the shot I later found just took a piece of skin out of his shoulder as he's coming through the air.
Yeah.
So I put my hand in his mouth, and we go down flat together on my back, him on top of me, and I pulled my legs up, as any wise human does, and threw him off. And he turned turtle, and he's lying like a meter from me. And I look like this, and he's looking at me.
Oh.
And I thought, whoop. And next thing, boom, Fritz shot him through the head, right next to me here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that. Anyway, he ripped me open here. He ripped this arm open. Where else? But the one he did, there's still a bit of a scar there. You probably can't see. And through here. That was the teeth, because I didn't want the teeth in the face. So we went back to camp, and my darling wife, Brita, patched me up, cleaned things. And there's a picture there, I think, of me holding my shirt with all these tears and, you know, bandaged arms and so on. Anyway, it was fine. And you've always heard that, like, people get shot, and they often don't feel anything for a while. That impact kind of numbs the nervous system. And I think that happens with a lot of animals that have been killed by other animals. Well, I can prove it's true. I had no pain for 2 hours. We had coffee, we discussed, everything was fine. And then starts the burning and the heat and the feeling not good. So we went off. Brita took me from Dundee, from those camps there, right to Kariba Hospital, right the way up that Zambezi Valley, through Dundee, Chawari, Sapi, Mana Pools, Nyakasanga, right up the escarpment, right to Kariba.
Oh, wow.
Got there that night, and the nurses sorted it out, clean it. Then we left, and we slept the night at Makuti Motel and went back to the safari camp next day. And I was fine for another day or so. And then the
What, did
hand.
you carry on hunting then, or what?
No, I couldn't because I was in a sling.
Okay.
But Fritz carried on with the hunting. And so the claw marks healed up. But they'd been in this rotten, but the teeth marks. Andy, my hand started swelling and pain. I said to my wife, Peter, we've got to get to Harare. We've got to go to Harare doctors.
Something's cooking.
This is something. So we drive there, and I got an appointment with a surgeon. It was like a Saturday morning. Mr. Rosen, his wife Muriel Rosen was one of Ian Smith's, she was in the opposition, I think, in UDI. Anyway, this is her husband, Mr. Rosen, the surgeon. So we go to his little surgery. He runs hot water in the basin, puts Lysol in it, whatever that is, and he puts your hand in, and all these pus was streaming out of these holes, these teeth holes. So while I'm sitting on the bench with my hand in the basin, he's chatting away, and and how's this and he says, well, yes, Harland, I've actually amputated a number of hands from leopard wounds. I thought, wow, thanks a lot. That's exactly what I want to hear.
Oh, wow.
I'll never forget that. Yes, Harland, I've amputated a number of hands from leopard bites. Then thanks a lot.
So after that, I mean, I suppose you learned your lesson. Don't look for tracks when you're following those things.
Don't look for tracks. Leave it to the
yeah,
trackers.
That's a good point, eh?
Yeah.
I often say to trackers when there's two of them, and trackers, they love to look at the ground.
Yes.
But sometimes when there's two good trackers, just let one look at the ground, other one look forward, because you can help to see something.
Yes, yes.
I always say African's man's eyes is much better than on the European's man's eyes. Yeah.
I've seen this so often, how, as you would agree, that one's eyes become, you can live in town for ages, and it takes a couple of days for your bush eyes to take over, and you spot that kudu standing there. Definitely, it's something that one's eyes and brain become accustomed to picking up wildlife or whatever.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. And it's that muscle memory of the eyes, I guess. And that's where, being raised on the farms and all that is a real advantage.
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. And then you get those trackers that actually grew up in the valley.
Yeah.
And like Tsuro and those guys, they hardly ever went indoors, I guess.
It's second nature to them, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they did. Their eyesight's amazing.
Yeah. Mr. Tsuro's still alive and kicking, eh?
Yeah, he is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What does he do for his passing time?
I think he's just squatting down in his huts there with his family.
Yeah. Watching the grandkids and run around and feed the chickens and take the cows out every now and then. Bet he tells a bit of a good story every now and then too, old Tsuro. Eh?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he could tell all sorts of stories. Well, we didn't even get onto that subject. My first hunt in Nyakasanga in 1961 with my two uncles, Roy Smart and Dick Harland.
Yeah.
I shot my first big bull elephant, a 45-pounder.
Fantastic.
There's a picture of it in the book with the lorry and the guys and all of us. And in those days, actually, 1961, the quota in Nyakasanga E-Camp, there was like 5 black rhinos, 5 lions. And so if you were the first in the queue, you bought a black rhino.
What?
Yeah. On license, you could shoot.
That is
You'll
wild.
see it. We'll have a look at it. I'll show you the actual photograph of that document. I've got it. So the beauty of it was four hunters for 2 weeks. I think we paid £255 for the camp, the auction fee, as it were, for 4 guys and 2 buffalo attached to each hunter.
Eh?
Okay,
8
so
buffalo.
we had 8 buffalo.
8 nyati, 8 dagga boys.
On
Yeah,
quota.
sounds like a heaven.
Yeah, but the cream on the cake, Andy, was this. If you wanted to shoot more, you just went up to Marangora and bought licenses, which I did because I overshot. In fact, I shot 9 buffalo myself.
Which is about 7 too many for the 2 you were given.
So that, yeah, and but then we had a leopard feeding on our biltong wires. Because, of course, with all these, the 2 bull, my cousin shot a little bull elephant, I shot this nice one, and all these buffalo.
So you made biltong out of everything?
Everything for the farm.
Yeah. I remember when we used to do these citizen hunts, we did the same thing. So you had a leopard chowing on your biltong wires out the back.
Yes,
yeah?
And of course all our staff were sleeping in that area, and so eventually my 2 uncles, old Roy Smart, in fact, he was a kind of a bravado kind of a guy, Richard, why don't you go and shoot that damn leopard? So I grabbed my shotgun and I put a couple of SSG and I called Tsuro.
Tsuro, we're off.
Tsuro goes, no, the leopard's here. So, well, no, we're going to look for it. So I get a torch and I'm going over there, and he comes over and he says, no, it's taken some nyama, a biltong, and it's gone down the bank. We're on the Zambezi River bank. So I said, okay, let's have a look. We go there, and there's the eyes. This guy, like 25 meters away or whatever, crouching down on I think he went for a drink. I don't think he took meat there. I think he went for a drink.
Yeah.
And his eyes look up at me, and I'm holding a torch in one hand, and I shoot with my other hand, boom, and kill him. So we pull him up the bank, and we go to the campfire, and the others are all sitting there. My Aunt Betty is there, and Uncle Roy and Uncle Dick, and we plonk it down. Oh, damn good show. I said, yeah, but Uncle, I don't have a license for it. Oh, well, you better go and get one. Yeah, but I don't have, I think it was 20 or 25 pounds. I don't have that money. I mean, I was at school at Peterhouse. You know, I didn't have that kind of money. So, oh no, we'll give you the money. So next day, I go all the way up to Marangora with my 25 quid and go into the office, and the ranger's there. Yeah, what can we do? I said, well, you know where we are in E-Camp. Can I buy a leopard license? Yeah, sure. Have you got one on bait? Yeah, I've got one on bait. Yeah, we've seen a big... Yeah, sure. So I pay and I get my license. Yippee!
Excellent. Yeah, go on. I know exactly where he's hanging out.
So that was a lot of fun. And then
that's wild.
Lofty Stokes, and he was lofty. I don't know how many yards high. Lofty Stokes, big game ranger.
Was his real name Lofty, or was that his nickname?
No, his nickname.
It's very here in Africa. There's a lot of nicknames given like that. Hey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lofty Middleton Stokes. But anyway, he was a game ranger up there as well. And one day, in drives this Land Rover, and out gets 6'6" of Lofty. And I happened to be in camp, and I thought, oh, he's heard about, I've shot too many buffalo, or I've shot the leopard, before I had the license. And anyway, I go and greet him. I was the only one in camp. All the others were out. Hello, Mr. Stokes. Yes, sir. He said, I believe you shot quite a lot of buffalo. I said, yes. He said, would you be able to give us a sack or two of biltong to feed our staff? We've run out of rations. I don't know why they didn't shoot. So, of course, I'm so relieved. Anything to do. Yes, of course, Mr. Stokes. Three bags of
full,
biltong. And then when I went with him to see him off, I see this cannon lying in the cab of his vehicle. I said, what's that? He said, oh, that's a 505 Gibbs. Wow. Ooh, that's a nice rifle.
Ah.
And then the whole story is that I came to own that rifle 18 years later.
No ways.
I was on a security trip through some farms, and we stopped for tea, and there's a newspaper. Now, I don't know why I opened the newspaper. Look at the adverts, 505 Gibbs for sale. So I said to the farmer, can I telephone this number quickly? I phoned this guy. And has it gone? No. So I said, please, I'll get to Salisbury it was still before independence, 1979. I'm going to come to Salisbury. Please keep it for me. I'm a professional hunter. I promise you, I'm going to take it. Don't give it away. And so when I got to Salisbury, it was in the office of the district commissioner, Hugh Southerns, and he'd been in Gorkwi. He'd been in all those wild areas, and I bought it for 500 Rhodesian dollars and 150 rounds of ammo included. I've still got some of the original boxes made in 1938, 1940, according to Mark Grudgington, who owns Gibbs. I sent him pictures of these these boxes of ammo. So that's how I came to have my 505 Gibbs, and that is something else.
Was that a good gun, eh?
Oh, that's a wonderful rifle. Yeah.
Folks, the new This is Africa knife is out. And if you haven't seen it, feast your eyes on this bad boy. For those who are listening, you'll have to go to TIA5.com and have a look at this knife. But for those who are watching on Rumble, check it out. It is the most incredible knife. The sheath is made by the same people who do the leather for the Rigby Gun Company. So it's really good quality leather. And the knife itself, which is my favorite part, has got an elephant dung resin handle, which makes every single knife handle unique. I love seeing them. Everyone who gets one, who orders them online, raves about their handle, but I think my handle's probably the best. But I think everyone just likes the handle because they're all different and all unique, and it's actually got actual elephant poop inside. It looks really cool and it's really African. The blade is incredibly sharp with the This is Africa logo burnt into it. Perfect for skinning, perfect for harvesting the meat off your animals. And when you put it on your gun belt, the sheath sits in such a way that it's magnificent, folks. If you haven't ordered yours, go ahead and do so. I highly recommend it, but do beware, it is a very sharp knife. The blade is thin and sharp. So head over and get yours, folks, at www.tiafive.com. Back to the episode. Do you still have some guns?
No, I've got a little rifle. I shot a leopard with it, a 2.2.
The one I saw on the chair.
Yeah, that one you saw.
Do you want to bring that one there, please, Carly?
When I was at Chipinda Pools, I told you about the tsetse fly groups. Thank you. It is unloaded. I checked before I came in. The tsetse fly hunters, and each had a European guy in charge of each group of 20 hunters. And we all lived in Chipinda Pools.
So it was a European hunter, overseer, and then 19 African hunters.
Yeah, 20 African
That's
hunters.
a mean team right there.
Yeah, and there were 4 teams, if I remember right. So, yeah, there was a bunch of white guys living there. Some had wives. Anyway, the point here, Andy, is they had homes permanent and their dogs and cats and chickens and so on. And this leopard decided it was going to have a nice, easy meal here and there of a doggy or chicken and break into the chicken. So obviously this caused nonsense, and the guy said to me, please, it's your job to get rid of this problem animals. I said, fine. So I hung my little tin hut that was my house. It was the lowest house, government house in Zimbabwe.
Like altitude-wise?
600 feet above sea level, yeah, on the Lundi River.
Yes, that must have been hot.
Hot.
So
Oven
hot.
So I was having this kudu haunch hanging on a tree right outside my dining room window. And so I'm sitting having I was facing this way because I'm right-handed. And Tsuro comes from the kitchen, which was a hut a little way up, several steps out and 10 yards away. He comes down and he says, the leopard's eating so I pull the curtain open. Yeah, here's the leopard.
Come on.
Eating the haunch.
How far away?
About from me to the bookcase, like you said not to talk
5
about
yards.
yeah.
5 yards. Not
Yeah,
even
about 5 yards.
Oh my goodness.
And so this little rifle, which has quite a lot of stories about it, stuck its nose out, and the leopard looked at me, and I shot him dead between the eyes, and he did a backflip, disappeared down the bank of the Lundi.
So that is a little 22.
It's a little 22.
Can you just show the camera there quick?
Yeah, this is what they call a sound moderator. So I use subsonic ammunition.
Okay.
And what gun is that? It's a Browning. Okay, it's a Browning 8-shot repeater. And the ammunition is this spring here.
Come on.
And you load the ammunition in this little orifice here. You drop the yeah.
So that's the ammo.
Okay. There is the ammo. And so you load it, you put them in here.
In the top? What?
Through there.
Yeah.
And then
just one after the other.
You one after the other, eight of them. And then you put the
sprung
rod up there. The reason I put that bit of masking tape is I lost this once on a walk round the farm here. And I had to go back, and luckily I found it. I hadn't clipped it properly, and it slipped out, so that's why I use it. It looks silly, but there's a reason. That was recent.
Yeah.
So I tweak this leopard, whoop, and he bounces away, falls down the bank. So I went up to the office, and I got a shotgun and a torch, and we have a look. No, we can't see anything, and it's a big reed bed, thick reeds, and a lot of scrub, and, riverine type
Very nice
stuff.
for following leopards.
Yeah. So in the morning, of course, we go back there, and we find Mr. Leopard stone dead. We just missed him, seeing him in the reeds.
Yeah.
So Andy, we skin him, and that bullet. Now, again, professional hunters, listen to this, or budding appies, apprentices. That cat's head, look at it, look at the skull.
Yeah,
the
it's
eyes
got a
are here.
ramp. Yeah.
The eyes are here, and they don't look at you like this. They look at you straight. Yeah. So the head is like that. So the bullet hit between the eyes, slid along the bone, under the skin, went around, followed the cranium, and popped out the back. So it was almost a straight line. Oh, I forgot to mention, I heard the tweet, the bullet ricochet.
Boom.
Yeah, that's what alarmed me, this ricochet noise. So he suffered from brain hemorrhage. The impact of that tiny little bullet, he got a brain hemorrhage. Lucky for me.
Really?
Because when we took the head off and looked inside, it was just, the brain was addled. But that little bullet never cracked the skull. It just followed the bone and came out of the skin at the back of the head.
That's crazy.
Isn't
and he died from basically the blunt force trauma.
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
He got a Mike Tyson blow, and that. That
is fascinating. So you could see the bullet mark through.
Yes.
It just followed the skull.
Just followed the skull. Didn't even. I had the skull. I don't know what's happened to it. I had it for decades. But that was.
And that's literally just because the angle of the skull's like that, and the bullet came.
Yes.
Over and out.
Yeah.
Hey, that is wild.
Yeah.
So.
It's accounted for untold.
What have you killed
monkeys,
with that thing? Monkeys?
Baboons.
Yeah. How long have you had that little rifle?
When I was first ranger at Mabalauta in 1965, one of the other rangers from Chipinda Pools, who actually came from my hometown, so I knew him, Tinky Haslam, he was on Operation Noah with Rupert Fothergill.
Yes, it's a fascinating story.
Youngish ranger then. But he was at Chipinda. He came down to our station to see the warden in charge. And, of course, knowing each other, we got chatting. And maybe we were having tea, and I had a chromium-plated .38 revolver, nice long barrel. And he said, Al, what do you use that? I said, well, it's just something I have. He said, I'd like to have that for my wife.
Not to use on her.
Margaret. For my wife when I'm away, not to use on her. Margaret. And so he said, I've got a little 2.2. How about a swap? So I said, that sounds fair. I won't use this thing, but a 2.2 I can use. Mm. So that's how I got this little Browning 8-shot repeater, 1965, swapping it for a .38 revolver with Tinky Haslam.
Fantastic.
And it has had, Is
it a semi-auto?
Yeah, just keep pulling the trigger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice. Mm. Hey, you can take out the whole flock of ginflowers.
Yeah, it certainly is. And this Weaver K3 scope came off a 458. That a friend of mine, he was a client, I took him hunting as well quite often, Zachary Miller from Oklahoma, Ponca City, Oklahoma, crazy guy. And he came out here with a beautiful 458 Winchester Magnum that he had made for himself by a little company called Flag. And I have that rifle. He gave it to me.
Oh, wow.
And it's beautiful. Ben Mavros actually has it now.
Okay.
But it's an absolute dream of a rifle.
Okay, so let's quickly rattle off the weapons you've had.
Oh, no.
The Mannlicher.
The BSA is before that. A BSA 458 from Paul Krobler.
Yeah.
And then in the department Mannlicher 458 Winchester Magnum again, bolt action. I also had a Rigby 450 double, which Tsuro carried. And Tsuro used it. He knew how to use a double rifle, double shotgun. Yeah. Taught him.
He could shoot point.
Yeah, because on occasions, if I was putting elephants down and I missed the brain and one was getting up,
he would.
And I'm busy over here, he would put it down.
Okay.
Yeah. As a backup.
So he had your back as such.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So anyway, that was that. I didn't use it much. I had a 375 with a scope for shooting elephants at night, which I did a couple of times. What else? Anyway, then I had that Ruger 458, which was horrible, and then I had this Zach Miller 458 by Flag. I had a good friend in Kwekwe, Jimmy Thiessen, who was a keen gun nut and a keen amateur hunter. And I said to him, Jimmy, I'm looking for a double to use, on safaris as a PH. He said, I know of a guy in Gweru. He works in customs department. He's got a Holland & Holland 465 Royal model. So I get this guy's phone number and I phone him. Yes, you can come and look at it. And he wanted $3,000 for it. So I go down there and I have a look at this thing. It had fired one shot from coming out of Holland's factory.
Come on.
It was absolutely brand new. And I still have the boxer ammo with the one round missing. Kynoch ammo. So I paid him and I took it away. And I had that beautiful, it's a jewel, it's a diamond. You can't take it hunting. I took it hunting, Andy, on some safaris, and I decided it was cruelty to dumb animals. I couldn't bear the thing to get a scratch or anything on it. I used it a couple of times on buffalo, and eventually I just took it away and went back to my bolt action. It was too magnificent to use as a safari weapon. To go out for a client and fire a couple of shots and take it home, yeah.
Put it in your whatever, gun room.
I know.
Yeah.
But
to have as a PH, you just felt like every little nick and scratch on it, you were just like killing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine.
If it had been a used weapon, fine, but it was just too gorgeous. So anyway, I put it away and eventually I sold it.
Okay.
So that really the only. I did own a 450 Army and Navy double 450. Yeah, it was a 450 at the age of 10, and I did fire a shot out of it. The same farm manager who told me Tsuro is the guy you want to go hunting with. He was a wonderful guy. His name was Rob Waller, and he married my eldest sister. Most wonderful guy, a real bushman. And he had this old Army and Navy 450, and he wasn't hunting anymore then, or he wasn't really a great hunter as such. And he gave it to me in its case, and I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And then
probably
later,
didn't realize what you had there.
No. And then when gun licenses came, not like a couple of years later, he said to me, you know what, I'm going to have to take that back. No ways will they license this at your age.
Yeah.
And I just cried my little eyes out, having to give my my double rifle away.
You're quite right.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And then you had the 505?
And the 505, yeah, that story. I've got it all written down. I've just given Patrick a copy of it. All the guys who owned it, some of whom I spoke to, Stan Morris particularly, who had it. And it was Hugh Southerns bought it from Lofty Stokes, who bought it from Stan Morris, who bought it from Jack Betts, his brother-in-law, who was a cattle inspector in Mazabuka, Northern Rhodesia, 1940 something. So it traced it back, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about a rifle is its history also makes what the rifle is, right?
Yeah.
It's
And it's got this what we call salute plates. Somebody put these nickel plates on the stock. Obviously, it's starting to show cracks from that huge recoil. And even Mark Crudgington in England, who owns Gibbs and repairs them and everything, he said, I'm sure that had to have been done in England. I said, well, I've talked to the gunman, Graham Benyons of Benyons and Purdy. He never did it. Stan Morris, you know, he was Secretary of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. He was head district commissioner and all that back in his day. He told me, I never had that done. So we decided Lofty Stokes must have sent it to the UK to have it done.
Whatever happened to old Lofty? Did you ever
He
meet?
went to New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, interesting. It's a very interesting old weapon. They only made 70, 505, at the original Gibbs factory.
Really, eh? Jeez.
Yeah.
No, beautiful weapons. There are some great weapons running around Africa here, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
From the good old days, the good old bad days.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah, there are. The Mabrosses have some magnificent ones from a very well-known writer, some of them.
Wilbur Smith. Yeah.
And the gold underneath the magazine plate, you know, with his initials, W.H. Smith.
Wow. That must be worth a fortune. Hey?
And that's what we were using on our safaris down there. Patrick Senior and Patrick Junior both shot huge crocs, like 14-footers or whatever.
Yeah, no, very passionate bushman. I mean, it comes through with his jewelry, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I wear Patrick Mabros's jewelry.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, me too.
I'm a big fan of Patrick. I like him. I like the work he does.
Yeah.
I like the stories he tells.
Oh, yeah.
You and Patrick are very similar, I think, in your storytelling ability and your passion for Africa. Very cool. We'll have to try and capture old Patrick at some point. But Richard, is there any, before we close out, is there anything that you saw over your time that was interesting or fascinating, or like a strange story, or, you know, sometimes people witness things that are almost unbelievable. Was there anything that ever happened to you that, like, be it anything, any department of...
Andy, I'll tell you an experience not that happened to me, but a funny thing. You know, you're just talking about whatever.
Yes.
This Norwegian Anders that we were with just now in the Zambezi, he shot... no, it wasn't him. Sorry, it was my friend Zach Atkinson, who we were accompanying, but Anders and his lady were with David Mann in the same camp. And so Zach with Alan Shearing, Zachary shot with his 375 this huge eland bull, shoulder shot, heart shot, and it stood. It never moved. And then it collapsed. Obviously, Dan McDonald got all this on the film, so I watched it.
The first shot, it had absolutely no reaction.
It did, yeah. I mean, most, as we said earlier about buffalo, most body shots on any big game anyway, you know, they move a distance, even if it's a few steps. Even with the heart blown away, they can make quite a bit of speed for a short distance.
Yes.
This guy just stood there and then went down.
As if nothing happened.
After several seconds. I mean, it was quite a while. Like, did I miss it? There was enough time to think. Zach to think, hell, did I miss that thing?
I think it was probably just such a perfect shot. And I don't know, some people talk about the breathing of the animal being involved in with the reaction, or how quick it dies, or what stage of breath it was at. But I've seen a similar thing, and it happens quite a lot with bows and arrows. You know?
Really?
Yeah. You know, guy will choop. I've seen with the eland as well. Choop with the bow and arrow.
Really?
The eland lifted its head as if to say, you know, I heard something, but what was that?
What was it?
It carried on drinking.
What?
Yeah, because it was at a waterhole
Yeah,
blind
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
And it walked off under a tree and toop.
So we're coming back to what I said about the leopard.
Exactly, and the trauma of
That instant shutdown of the nervous system, or that part which feels pain, the kind of shock or whatever medical people would say, but that sounds like a similar situation.
For sure.
Isn't that something?
Do you miss hunting?
No, I think I don't miss following animals to hunt as such. No, I've done enough, and
you still get your bush fix and going out there, and
I love that. Yeah, like we've been lucky enough to have these trips. But yeah, so also at my age, somebody asked me the other day, I mentioned something, and he said, "Oh, you're still doing hunting?" So I said, "No, I was invited by somebody to go on his safari."
Yeah.
No, I mean, jeepers. No, physically, I could never do it now.
Why did you hang up the boots?
2 reasons. One, Andy, my folks got old. Uncle Dick left the farm. Dad was there, but he couldn't manage. I took over the family farm, so that entailed for 5 years. Brita and I drove 450 kilometers from Kwekwe to Rusapi Farm, and from Rusapi Farm back to Kwekwe, like every week or 10 days for 5 years.
Wow. Managing 2 farms.
Managing 2 farms. That was a crop farm. It was a lot of work. We were growing tobacco and all sorts of things. Anyway, so the one reason was I was heavily into the farming by then. The other reason, probably more important, my 2 partners had died. Fritz died at the age of 68. He was my partner in ranching, a wonderful guy, and much older than me. He was doing a hunt with our safari company in Doma, and the client had wounded a buffalo, and they were following it, and they were going up a bit of a rise, and the tracker said, the buffalo's down, there it is. And so he turns round, and Fritz has disappeared. He died of a heart attack with his double rifle following a wounded buffalo.
Your partner?
Yeah.
What?
Isn't that something?
At
Alan,
that moment.
Yeah, what I mean, what an incredible way to go. I mean, just that's what happened. My other partner, Alan, who was more my age, was killed by an elephant cow.
Hey?
Yeah. They were driving back, and the story, I get various slightly different versions.
Yeah.
Saw some elephants and decided to go and have a look. Was there something shootable or what? Left the client in the car and his trackers, took his rifle, went down there and got a look at the elephants or whatever, and didn't come back. There was a bit of noise from the elephants, and then everything quietened down. So that the crowd in the car go down there, and they find Alan with tusks through him, dead. Hadn't fired his rifle. And, I see his son, Rob, frequently when I'm in Kwekwe, and nobody's really been able to explain what was he doing. What was he doing that he couldn't get himself? Why did he get into that predicament? Why didn't he shoot his way out of it? Whatever. We don't know. So Vadoma, that was the name of our company, Vadoma, which is the two-toed tribe of Dundee. That just closed. That was it. But I'd actually left Fritz and Alan. They continued the business because of all my farming.
Yeah. Wow.
Then I went back with the Mavros safaris for 5 years.
Okay.
But, not as a paid PH, just as a friend, because I've known them for 45 years.
For sure.
So that was hunting, proper PH type hunting. So that was the last in 2010, the last one we did.
Yeah. There's this land of hunting is full of fascinating stories.
Yes.
And we certainly thank you so much for joining us on This is Africa, the podcast.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, Richard Harland. What a living legend, icon. You did so much, and I know there are so many more stories in your head and in your books. But thank you so much for sharing a few of them with us today and getting to know you. And flying the flag of Zimbabwe and Rhodesia so high for so long.
Thank you.
Very special to talk to you. Maybe we'll have you on another time for different topics and things like that. But for now, we're going to love and leave you.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it. And I've really enjoyed meeting you and having a good chat and reviving my lovely memories I have. And I'm so happy that you're willing to share them with other people. Thank you. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. And how nice is it to know that some of your stories that are in your books, and some people might not ever get to have a book of yours because they're just few and far between now.
Yeah.
And everyone's holding on to them, obviously. But at least people now can, they're going to be available on YouTube for everybody to listen to and watch and see who you are. And they're going to be on the podcast platforms, hopefully for eternity, which is pretty cool. Because even when I'm gone one day, then other people can still listen in and hear of times gone by.
Yeah.
Because it was a different era.
Yes. I think that is important, is people who lived a bit of history for others to know about it. I love hearing history of, people I know, people I don't know, through books or whatever. And it is for any country, especially one like Zimbabwe, to maintain our historical writings and nowadays more so recordings like you're doing. It's fantastic. And I'm so grateful that you're taking these things on, because way down the line and decades ahead, people are going to say, gee, I'm so glad Andy went to the lengths of recording all these old buggers.
Yeah. No, for sure. And Carly as well. She does the hard legwork, never gets any accolades for it, but she's always the one who sets up all the cameras and the sound and everything. Yes. Another thing I'd like to just add is it's quite interesting to, we talk about, all these hunting adventures and the tsetse fly corridors that you had to clear and all this stuff. And it sounds like a lot of killing. But what a lot of people who might not be involved in the hunting who don't understand as well is that you guys were the ones in charge of protecting the wildlife. I know it's a hard thing to wrap your head around because you were shooting, but it was also protecting vast tracts of land, which is still our heritage in present-day Zimbabwe. You were operating in Rhodesian times.
Yeah.
At some point. And Zimbabwean times. But what we have in Zimbabwe is largely thanks to the vision and land set aside by you and people like you who came before you. So there's going to be people like you that come after you and me and after us that are going to hopefully do the same thing.
Yes.
So, I guess you are a forefather and father of certainly Zimbabwean wildlife. So,
well, I'm glad I had a life involving wildlife. Again, thanks to my mother, I'm sure without her, I wouldn't be the little boy I am.
Absolutely. And we should thank those who came before us and those hopefully who come after us do the same thing. Yeah. So, folks, on that deep and meaningful end, thanks for joining us once again. Those who are listening, thanks so much. Don't forget, you can also find a little bit extra on our Patreons. This is Africa Patreons page if you want extra. Richard, amazing. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Andy. Take care, and thanks to Carly for all her hard work behind the scenes.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
See you later, folks. Bye for now. Folks, if you'd like to book your hunt in Africa, get hold of us at www.tiafive.com. That's actually what I do, folks. I put people in the perfect place for their African safari. We've got a whole team that deals with this side of the business. So if you're looking for a place to go and you don't want to get put in the wrong place, head over to tiafive.com and we'll help you out, folks. Back to the episode.